This is At Face Value.
Whoop! Hey, what's up?
That's the sound of the police.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Here we go again. Episode 21, At Face Value. I'm Brian.
I'm Lucas.
And we're so excited to have y'all back after an absolutely insane weekend of sports. We got our buddy Will, who's rocking his team, the Houston Rockets, right now. And we also got Michael here. You want to say what's up, Michael?
How's it going, everybody?
So super pumped to have four people. We're gonna have to get a better connection for our camera so that we can actually get the space one of these days.
Yes. But we need to build a studio.
Yeah. Hey, that all comes down to the people getting their subscriptions, dude. That's
I guess
so. Yeah. But no, super excited to have everybody on the show again, and like I said, just an absolutely insane weekend. I mean, dude, let's just jump into it. I mean,
what happened?
Initial thoughts?
Pretty boring week, really. Not a whole lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple decent games here and there, but
I stayed up late to watch the drama unfold. Will, you want to take it away?
Yeah, go ahead.
What are your
Will.
thoughts, man?
I mean, it was an insane game. UCLA, USC, yeah. I stayed up late to watch that one too, Lucas.
Yeah,
just
dude.
an insane
Till
game.
1 o'clock.
Big Ten after dark.
No. Shit. No. Yeah, it was just a terrible showing. Everything I talked about before, they didn't do any of it. Down 21-0, just off the rip. Defense porous, couldn't stop a runny nose. Offense couldn't get going to the third quarter. Then we looked like the team that should have been there all day, and then they just blow it at the end. I don't know. I'm in a bad place right now. The season somehow isn't over because of all the other chaos that we'll get to in the SEC, but yeah, just a pathetic showing.
I just want to throw it out there that this is exactly what it feels like to be a Dallas Cowboys fan, because it's the same kind of thing. It's like, despite everything, we still control our own destiny, and like that's exactly where Aggie's at right now.
Well, I mean, we do. We somehow we still have a chance. I mean, the playoff, that'll be an argument if we take care of business. If we were to beat Texas and then somehow beat Georgia, then you get the 3-loss team argument going on. But I mean, it shouldn't have been this way. And this weekend shouldn't even have to matter, because if we would have beat Auburn with the other stuff that unfolded, the Texas game wouldn't have mattered. A&M was in because with the way the tiebreaker shook out. So they could have lost to Texas,
Really?
and it would have been Texas versus Texas A&M in the SEC title.
So they
game.
would have just played back-to-back?
They would have played back-to-back.
Yeah.
All we had to do was beat
Well,
Auburn.
And that's because
Texas won.
LSU shit the bed against Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the first beep of the season.
It was going to come eventually. So
But, I mean, you cannot – I don't even have words to describe it. 4-6 Auburn. 4-6 Auburn, who has been in close games but has lost every one of them and lost to some bad teams. And you are trying to be a program builder. You're trying to do all the things that Elko talks about. Like, he's not focused on Texas at all, but he's completely focused on Texas. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's rough.
Coming out that flat, like, you have to be focused on Texas. Like, I think they got their, like,
He said it.
He got-
verbatim said it.
He got-
I want to get this
yeah.
straight. We are solely focused on Texas. I mean Auburn. Like
Yeah.
we knew right then we were going to lose.
But the first quarter and a half, like, Texas got punched in the mouth, and that's what woke them up. They're like, oh, I better do something, and that's kind of where they kind of sparked forward, because you could just tell that it was just flat. One team was running and flying to the football. The other team was just kind of going through the motions.
They were just. I mean, and then they did wake up. Second half was great. Defense woke up. Fourth quarter, Auburn had negative yardage until that last drive. So they were getting there, and then you take a lead. You have one stop. You have them 4th and 3. You give up a 23-yard scramble. I mean, like.
The one thing I will say about Auburn is Auburn on paper is a very good football team. They've just led the country in turnovers. They have 20 turnovers this year.
Yeah.
20 turnovers lost. They just can't take care of the football. And I think they didn't A&M have a pick?
A&M picked the ball off,
Yeah.
got on a tip ball.
Yep.
Picked it off, has the ball on the 15-yard line, has to kick a field goal because we can't move the ball. Then
Oh.
another time, they punt the ball 18 yards. We get the ball on the 50, have a chance to cut it to 7 before the half, get back in a good groove. We move the ball 5 yards.
I feel like you just summed up LSU's offense of the past 3 weeks.
I know. I mean, I had to listen. I listened to you, and I was like, man, it feels good to have to talk about that. And here I am 1 week later talking about the same crap.
hey,
I mean,
Aggie gonna Aggie, dude.
we are, and we're gonna. This team had a chance to go 10-2, 11-1 if we take care of South Carolina. We're gonna go 8-4. We're gonna go 8-4 and play in the Duke's Mayo Bowl or some crap like.
Hey, people would kill to play in the Duke's Mayo Bowl, dude.
Dude,
Like-
get dunked in a tub of mayo. You see that? Like, it's awesome. I freaking love mayo, by the
I
way.
hate mayonnaise. That is nightmare fuel.
no,
Watching our
who
coach
was
get
it? Somebody,
dunked in
somebody actually
mayo.
did tweet that though. They were like, "This comes down to like this is the biggest game in A&M history. Is like they're either playing in Athens against Georgia for a chance to go to the playoff, or they're playing in the Texas City Music City Bowl. Like,
Yeah.
And that is 100% true. That is 100% true.
Going forward though, I can't see Texas A&M taking care of business though. Like
No.
how do you trust that? Like
No,
after that,
and they won't, because if this game meant nothing, if A&M was mathematically eliminated from the SC title game, they would go beat Texas. But since the game still has meaning and matters, they are going to completely not show up.
But I will tell you, man, like I feel like there's something in the Kool-Aid over there in College Station because like my brother, he said he has a coworker that's a big Aggie, and he said, I don't care if we go 1-11 as long as that one win is against Texas.
dude, saw them off, man.
It's like, like but
Horns down, baby.
but that's really like that goes back to
The
like
whole
that whole
country horns down, though.
yeah
Just because everyone hates Texas,
yeah
for sure.
yeah.
There's no
The,
way.
the entire country is against the Texas Longhorns right now. So
Go Texas. I'm done with A&M. I'm done with all my teams. It's time for basketball. I'm done with football.
Yeah. The one thing I will say though, speaking on Texas, they go and they beat Kentucky.
That's
Another Texas.
what a winner does. They
Another
go
Texas
win the games.
home game. I feel like Texas only plays home games, but that's for another day.
They had a lot of home games stacked early in the season.
Dude, they played 2 road SEC games this year, and it was Mississippi State and at Vandy.
Nice draw.
Tough road slate. But no, Arch being hurt, like so we might be.
Quinn.
Shit.
Arch is the truth.
Here we
dude.
go. Yes, Quinn being hurt, Arch coming in could be a thing for the game. Which again, that could be a good thing for Texas. A different dynamic coming out of the quarterback position because obviously Quinn, even before he was hobbled, he wasn't running the ball very well.
No, and if A&M's rush defense gets home at all, it's going to be a long day. Because
Don't worry.
he cannot move in the pocket.
Don't
No.
worry.
Whether he's healthy or not.
We just made Peyton Thorne like a Heisman
Yeah, I
winner.
was
You're going to be fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say A&M secondary is suspect for sure, and that's if he can get rid of the ball, that's where.
Yeah, but he's got to have the time.
Yeah,
And you know
but
A&M's going
does
to
he?
get up for this game.
But does he have to have the time? Because I feel like the way Sark calls a game, he starts off with those little, again, check downs, what everybody
I
complains about. But that's setting it up. Like that's getting the ball out quick and setting up the bait and go deep.
Well, and especially like
and it's shown to work the
Yeah,
past
it-
few
it does
weeks
work.
where they have a wide open dude sneak out of the backfield running a wheel route or
but-
or a tight end sneaking up the seam because everybody's biting on the swing pass.
well, and
or
what
the
people
check
don't
down.
realize either is like whenever you don't have a great run game, like your run game is like the check downs and the sweeps and the little quick passes. Like that is your
Yeah.
run game because then it's still opening up stuff downfield because it's forcing you to play up a little bit and then it opens that stuff up. Like,
But Texas, I feel like, has a pretty good running game. Like Jaden Blue has
It-
looked great.
it's
other than
been
the
it's been
fumbles.
very
fumbles.
inconsistent.
he's
Yes.
put the ball on the ground a lot. He did it again
Yeah, he did.
yesterday.
they
Um,
recovered it, but yeah,
They recovered it. You know, it's as a Texas fan, go to these games and like the first 15 scripted plays that Sark does drives
Great.
me nuts. Just
Yeah.
come out and run the ball.
yeah.
Like they had that happen. They came out in the second half and they, did a drive. I think they ran 11 straight running plays. They didn't throw the ball one time. Drove the ball down the field, took 8 minutes off the clock and scored. And it's like, just run the ball.
That was towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Just
was
run the ball.
I was gonna talk in the chat. I was gonna be like, "What a great drive by Quinn, man!" Because he literally just turned around and handed it off
held it up.
like literally 11 times. Yeah, every single play, and I mean 5, 6,
What did
8
it go,
yards a pop.
80-something yards?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
I think it was right at
yeah.
80. I think
Yeah.
it was a touchback. And it
Yeah.
just, it was prior to that, it looked a little shaky. Like, it's like they're going to find a way to mess this game up. There were some bad no calls on PI in that game. And it's like, well, here we go. This is where it falls off because we're looking ahead to next week.
Yeah, I mean for sure. Kentucky's also not a good football
No,
team.
they're not.
Well, I was gonna say, like-
and go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say you're playing at home. It's a 2:30 kickoff. I mean, it's a little different. Like, in my opinion, I mean, you're still going to Auburn. You're playing a night game. Like the environment's gonna be a lot different as well. So I
Oh,
mean,
for
yeah,
sure.
and I don't know what Kentucky like their plan is, but that Vandegrift dude is not a good quarterback. And the week before, he came in the second half and did what he did to Texas too, because they started completing the ball.
They brought in the backup in the second half, and that kid.
They did that last week too.
Yeah.
And they came out and said Vandegrift is our starter. He gives us the best chance to win. No, he doesn't.
No.
It's obvious at this point. And so because that same thing happened, Vandegrift got benched, and then the backup came in last week and threw for like 150 yards, no picks, and like 2 touchdowns. And they're like, no, we're going to go back to the guy who we benched. And so could have been a different game if he started the game. Who knows, obviously. But he looked like a way better playmaker than Vandegrift did.
Surprised me how chippy that game was, too. Like, there was a lot of jawing.
Well, yeah, dude, it's an SEC matchup.
From the first from the first play, there was a corner, Malik Muhammad, and him and one of these receivers were just nonstop going at it.
Yeah, it's not the Big 12 anymore, dude.
That's fair.
I guess not.
Yeah.
They're not ready for SEC,
Well,
dude.
Yeah.
Imagine how much of a cakewalk Texas would have had in the Big 12 this year.
I-
Oklahoma would have been the second best team in the Big 12.
I actually made that point.
He
Like,
said that in the chat last night.
like
yeah.
Texas,
be
Texas
undefeated in the
easily.
Well, and it's so frustrating because the defense did their job against Georgia, and they just choked that game away.
Yeah,
Like, they just did not show up. Offense did not show up for that game.
for sure. And I mean, the defense did what they could, but I mean, the same could be said about a lot of teams, though.
Yeah.
Like LSU against A&M, they choked that away.
That's part
you
of it.
know?
Yeah, A&M's not a good football team, obviously.
I mean, LSU's worse.
Well, it's like
This couch has been down bad the last
Yeah.
month. That couch is sitting great, but
I mean, all you have to do is have a dynamic runner at quarterback, and LSU's.
I mean, I'm down bad right now because the Cowboys won today. So
yeah. No
Have
more
you tried
picks.
carrying
Y'all-
less?
hey, y'all
It works
tried.
great.
the thing is, no,
y'all
that's what I'm
tried to
saying.
lose that.
Dude, I tried. Yes, they tried so hard.
86-yard with like
Yes.
6 defenders.
And he misses the extra point.
Scary
dude.
Terry
Like,
just runs right through him.
Wait,
man.
did Dallas lose today?
they won.
No, they won. They tried to blow it. Daniels threw an 86-yard touchdown to Terry McLaurin, and he just carved up the D down the sideline.
And then what happened?
He
Dude,
missed the extra point.
So this is what happens.
that would have tied the game.
So the
Oh, God.
Washington scores to make it a 3-point game, and then they kick it off, and the Cowboys take the kickoff for the touchdown, and so then it makes it like a 10-point game, and then it kind of goes back and forth. Washington ends up throwing an 86-yard dime to Terry McLaurin, makes it 27-26 with 20 seconds left, and he misses the extra point. So then they onside kick, and then the Cowboys take the onside kick back for a touchdown. Like, dude, the last 2 minutes of the game were like insane.
Big for prize picks, though. Jaden Daniels went over yards on that 86-yarder.
And Terry McLaurin went over on yards too, because we had Terry on that. But also, like, the Cowboys can't do anything right. Like, everything was set for them to be on path for the number 1 pick. You know, got Mr. Heisman, Travis Hunter over there, like he's ready to go, and then they got to win. They got to win. Like, dude, it's unbelievable. Like, I don't get it. I blame Dan Quinn.
He sacrificed to
Just
win
did
just to
us- did us a
sabotage his
solid.
old team.
Yeah, and then the Texans go and lose to the Titans today, dude. Like, this is a bad weekend for you,
I'm
dude.
down
Like,
bad, man. That was so terrible. At home, and you play terrible. You have no business to win this game. You have a chance to tie the game, possibly send it to overtime if your defense holds. Fairbairn missed a 28-yarder
oh my god.
from his preferred hash line. He kicked it straight. It was on the left hash. He just kicked it straight. Didn't even get close. We were losing at halftime, and we sacked Will Levis 7 times in the first half. And we were losing at halftime.
Yeah, but this is also the same team that lost a football game with
5 picks. 5 picks.
That's
I mean,
impressive, man.
we made Will Levis look like an NFL quarterback today. I mean,
Has the OC been fired yet?
Slowick?
Yeah.
No.
What are they doing?
Well, I mean, Slowick last year was coming into this year. They were like, it's going to be his last year because him and Ben Johnson were going to be the 2 most sought after offensive coordinators for head coaching jobs. And
Now they're like,
yeah.
this is his last year.
I mean,
we're getting
he'll
rid of
be
him.
back. It's just a sophomore slump. I mean, I shouldn't even say slump. It's not like he's terrible, but teams have had a year of film. You see it a lot. It happened to Lamar.
Yeah.
His second year in the league was not as good as his first full year.
Well,
but
and
then
you've dealt with some
he slowly
injuries.
improved.
You've dealt with injuries at wide receiver too.
Yeah,
That doesn't
wide
help. You've
receiver
got
didn't
a
help.
young quarterback.
And then Will Anderson Jr. on the defense has been out last couple days, and our corner was out, Lassiter. So, yeah, there's been some injuries, but you cannot lose the Titans at home. They are 2-8.
Yeah.
You cannot lose at home. You can't even lose in Tennessee. But
Well, and the fact that they gave up 30 points because
Yeah, 32 points.
The Titans defense is actually pretty good.
Not
but
bad.
their offense is horrible.
Will Levis is a
It's
turnover
32
machine,
points,
and
yeah.
I think he still actually turned the ball over twice today. But I mean, again, you can't. There's no excuse. There's no. If you want to, that dude just got rocked.
He
Oh,
might be out. He went night night.
yeah. It just can't happen. It cannot happen. There's no excuse. I don't. Did y'all see D'Amico Ryan's face? So to end the game, Stroud got sacked out of bounds, and he ran out of bounds first, like Dan Orlovsky did back in the day. And D'Amico just kind of made this face, like,
Oh, no.
"Jeez, yeah." That's the state of the Texans right now. State
Wait,
of
he
all
ran
my-
out of the back of the end zone?
Yeah, to avoid the sack, they were on the one.
so
And
he
he backed up,
no.
and then he realized he ended up getting tackled too, but he went out of bounds first. Like
Yeah.
the tackle was irrelevant. Like he
Oh,
just
my
was trying to
gosh.
avoid the pressure and just kept going back. Like
Wow.
forgot he only had 10 yards to work with here, or 5 because he was in shotgun.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, not that we were going to drive it 99 yards with 50 seconds left, but still.
Fun times, dude.
No. Yeah. Houston Rockets basketball, baby. 12-6. They're in the West. It's fun times.
I would say the Rockets are playing well right now, dude. Like they're playing good.
No, but-
Did you see what Fred VanVleet did?
Oh, no, I did not.
He like shoved the referee. Like he got a foul or something. He like shoved the referee in the face.
He called him a not so savory
Yeah.
name either.
Oh, I didn't hear what he called him. I just saw they shoved him in the face. I was
Oh,
like,
you-
oh, he gone.
You could read his lips. It was very clear what he
He
said.
does this, man. Like he'll go to the post game interviews and like he'll like they can find me. I don't care. I'm saying what I think, and he'll just go crazy on refs and stuff. But like he's not scared to say it, right or wrong. But
But dude,
Yeah,
like,
but I bet his pocketbook doesn't love all those fines he's getting.
he got a max contract.
just
man.
say,
He
I'm,
got-
I'm pretty sure he's making enough money.
yeah,
He
he got something. I think he got 120 or 120 something million 3 years from a guy from Wichita State, 6-foot point guard. I think he's doing fine.
Probably right.
You know who else got a lot of money?
Brian Kelly.
Well, yes, but Bryce Underwood. Y'all see that?
Massive flip after he's been. There's no chance I'm going to Michigan.
Multiple-
Always posting
yeah,
LSU stuff.
multiple times.
So what did you say the final contract was?
It was it finally did come out what LSU's offer was. LSU offered him $6 million, so 1.5 a year to go play quarterback. Never take a snap, 1.5 a year. Michigan doubled that, so he's making $3 million a year at Michigan.
And like LSU didn't try to counter or anything. They just said, "See you."
Yeah, I don't think. I think after that,
Nussmeier's coming back.
well, I think he was, and I'm down for it. Like Nussmeier looked really good yesterday, and he's looked good most of the season. He had that 3-game slide, but it's also his first year starting. But no, I don't think LSU even wanted to counter that because at the end of the day, LSU's trying to build a roster. Like you can have one guy, like obviously at a very very important position, but if you don't have people around him, if LSU had the Heisman winning quarterback last year, lost 3 games because they couldn't play defense.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna allocate all of your funds, and LSU, don't get it twisted, LSU doesn't have even close to Michigan money. Like that CEO and founder of Oracle, he's like a $250 billion guy, is the one who's funded that whole thing. Everybody thinks it's Portnoy. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't Portnoy. It was the owner of Oracle.
So like when it
Tom Brady got involved apparently at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he had,
but
like,
for
conversations.
sure. But I mean, dude, Bryce has been talking to Odell and Joe Burrow. He's been talking to a bunch of people too. Like they throw everybody. Shaq, I'm sure, is in on it. You know,
Yeah.
Well,
like,
and you-
alumni are going to be in on the recruiting process, especially on a guy like that. But I mean, LSU's has bigger problems than just at quarterback because LSU's going to have receivers. They're going to get running backs coming in. They're going to get a viable quarterback. And granted, the thing, if you go through the top 10 in the NCAA right now, like in college football, out of the top 10, 7 or 8 of the top 10, they don't have like a
Well, they're
quarterback.
transfer quarterbacks.
They're all transfer quarterbacks.
Will Howard, Dylan
Yes.
Gabriel.
And-
You can
but not
count
even-
Quinn Ewers if you want, even though he was originally committed to Texas.
Yeah, he played a year at
At Ohio
redshirted
State.
at Ohio
Yeah.
State, but they're all transfers. Like,
But
and
not-
so,
And they're not even like generational talents. Like there's not a good quarterback class.
and that just goes to show you that
You have to have a full team to win. Like
not just a full team, but you like it goes to show you that it's important to have a quarterback that has had some experience. Experience goes a long
It
way.
trumps everything.
For sure. I mean, LSU, Joe Burrow, transfer. Jaden Daniels,
Transfer.
Like, that's how things are kind of going nowadays. And so I think LSU felt that they could either stick with Nuss another year, roll it back, and then go try to find somebody in the transfer portal if they need to. And now they're using that $1.5 million to sign the number 1 corner in the country, the number 1 running back in the country, the number 2 corner in the country.
Don't get it twisted. $1.5 million. That's a lot of money to an 18-year-old kid that's
God.
never had money in his life. At some point, you also want a guy that wants to be on campus, on your campus, and isn't just a mercenary looking for the biggest dollar.
For sure.
But you have to draw the line somewhere.
He was. He was fully committed to LSU.
Evidently not.
No. But that's like a Godfather offer.
Money talks.
That's like an offer.
That's insane.
Money talks and bullcrap walks, huh?
That's an offer you can't refuse. They put that money on the table like Shark Tank. I guarantee you. They were like, "This is our offer. If you don't take it right now, we're done." And so I'm sure his parents were like, "Look, $12 million. It's probably not going to be 12. It'll probably end up being what 9 because he's probably won't stay all 4 years.
I'd love to see and read some of these contracts and see what kind of clawbacks there are for leaving early or conduct detrimental to the team or stuff like that.
Contracts are coming, y'all. I think
No, they are.
Sure.
No, they are.
Like,
so that's the thing about LSU, like him going to LSU. So there are reports that literally LSU's team and his lawyer were drawing up contracts and like doing everything at like 4:00 whenever the news hit at 5. So literally like they were talking with the lawyers, signing contracts, doing everything, and then an hour later it hits and then he flips.
And you have to do that. You have to protect your investment as an NIL fund or as any of these companies that are using these kids for NIL. Like you have to have some kind of protections in place.
Absolutely, but he was fully committed to LSU. Like, they came out with the $10.5 million. He was still very committed to LSU because the difference between 1.5 and annually it would have been like 2.6. Like he was willing to say, okay, I'm going to LSU for less than an extra $1 million a year. Now that you double that. Like that's a hard thing to pass up.
Well, he could never go play in the NFL ever and still be set for life if he's not
absolutely.
Y'all can get him next year after he leaves Michigan when you realize that Michigan is a dumpster fire.
And that could absolutely be the case.
Quinn went and got $1 million that year at Ohio State, and then Texas comes calling and gets
That's honestly what I could see happening.
That could 100% happen.
Goes, takes his money, and then he realizes that
Nussmeier's coming back. They're like, hey, you're not going to play.
Start immediately. Yeah.
Because that was his whole reasoning for coming to LSU was the developmental process. Like he sees Joe Burrow sign a $400 million contract. Like you can get $10 million in college, but are you going to get $400 million?
And then Jaden Daniels behind Joe Burrow, and now Nuss.
Yeah. Absolutely,
it's money because there's no way he went to Michigan saying, "Oh, this is going to be good for my development."
I'll be here for 3 full years.
What's the last good Michigan quarterback? I think we talked about it before. Like,
Brady.
They don't have, and he wasn't even.
Everyone says J.J. McCarthy.
I was about to say J.J. McCarthy.
But was he though? Like
McCarthy's the highest drafted quarterback.
Their
that doesn't mean he's
defense,
the best quarterback.
Their defense carried him that title.
Yeah, but we don't know because he got hurt. So
I mean.
I think
he averaged like 80 yards a game passing, but go off. but no.
So talking about transfer quarterbacks for a second, who's done it best this year for transfers? Will Howard or Dylan Gabriel?
I mean,
I would say Dylan Gabriel just because he went for 7 years, he got his money, and he's probably gonna. Well, he won't win a Heisman.
Nah.
But, he's gonna get an invite.
I think it remains to be seen. Still,
I think more people
whoever
have
ends
questioned.
up with the ring, if either one of them ends up with the ring, that obviously they made.
I think more people have questioned with Will Howard at times and some of his decision making. They don't really question Dylan Gabriel.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like Dylan Gabriel's looked fairly consistent throughout the season
until they played Wisconsin.
Well, yeah, but like Will Howard, like he's had a lot of like kind of like ups and downs. Like Gabriel had like the one against Wisconsin, but overall, he's been pretty consistent. So
Will Howard also has better targets to throw to.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. That's what I mean.
That's another thing. But, I don't know.
When you have a $20 million roster around you, it's a little easier to throw the ball to. So
yeah.
I don't know what Oregon's is. it's probably not that far off.
I was going to say, because they...
Papa Phil Knight over there just slinging bands around.
Gabriel's thrown for 300 more yards. Howard's thrown for 26 TDs compared to Gabriel's 22, and they've both thrown 6 picks. And they're 3rd and 4th in QBR. So they've had pretty similar seasons stat-wise.
Is Will Howard? Is he a sophomore? Is he?
Nah,
he was at K-State forever.
He's
for
like
a long time. Yeah,
that's what
I think him and Gabriel have a similar thing. Yeah. So they're both 5th years.
Yeah, I think they're both done.
Actually, Gabriel might be a 6th year because he was at UCF first too, right? Or is he only
it's like
5th
6
year?
or 7 for Gabriel.
Yeah. But yeah, they're both experienced at quarterbacks, and imagine that the top 2 teams in America
I'd love to see both those two teams lose in the first round of the playoffs. No one questions their strength of record or anything like that, but
It's going to be crazy though because they're I think by far the top 2 teams in the country, and one of them is going to be the 5th seed.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're still getting to host a game. I mean,
yeah.
But
I think being the 5th seed in this playoff is the best spot to be in.
you get a
That's
home.
honestly what I
You get a
think.
home playoff game.
And
Yeah.
you play the 12th seed, and then your first game of the second round is going to be probably the worst of the
yeah.
it's going to be the 4th seed, which is probably Boise State or the winner of the Big 12. So
The 12 seed this year is probably going to be Bama. They're going to find a way
They're
to get him
trying
in.
so hard to
They're
find
going to
a
get
way.
him in.
But
How do
think
you
it'll be-
lose 2 games to unranked opponents and drop a combined like 8 spots?
It's set up. It's set up for
It's
Bama
so
to get
bad.
in.
Yeah, because that's what we were talking about this morning.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh well, 3-loss Alabama's not going to get in, but if you look below them, like Ole Miss is right below them, South Carolina's right below them, and with the
I-
Big 12, so right now
Dude, yeah.
it's Arizona State and Iowa State, so one of them's going to lose in the Big 12 championship.
And BYU only has 2
and
losses.
BYU too. So,
Yeah.
but none of those teams are going to jump into the top 12.
No.
it's
Like,
last week I adamantly said I think the ACC is a one team conference, and I think there's a big chance they get 3 teams in now.
no,
Who?
There's no chance.
If Clemson beats South, because they are giving South Carolina a lot of credit now. They have them ranked 14th. If Clemson goes and beats South Carolina, and then now Clemson is just a 2-loss team with the chaos in the SEC, and if SMU and Miami play each other, I think they're both getting in, and then Clemson can sneak in over the Big 12 or over another SEC team.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take
Over a 3-loss
I would take
SEC
a
team.
2-loss Clemson over 3-loss Alabama.
Exactly. So
But
now
then,
you get-
but then the committee goes and says, "Hey,
Alabama
Alabama beat
bias.
Georgia. Look what Georgia did to Clemson at the beginning of the year." Like that's the argument that they're going to make. You know what I mean? And so it's just set up to be able to be there, and that's the problem. But what else do you do because so many teams are losing?
Exactly, and that's what it is. Is like there's so many 3-loss teams that are in there.
I think I looked at the path. Like really, the only way that Bama doesn't get in, I feel like, is this if Texas A&M goes and wins out, like beats
that's
Georgia.
the only way.
Beats Georgia.
That's the only way.
Because if Georgia loses in the championship game for their 3rd loss, like you're going to put Georgia in over Alabama for playing that extra game.
But then that would get 2 SEC teams in at 3 losses.
The SEC is just built
Yes,
different.
because yes,
Texas will be in still at 10-2, and Tennessee is now sitting in a great spot because they don't have another game to lose,
So let me ask you,
or
this,
they
though,
play
too,
they play somebody.
because
But
let's
Vanderbilt,
just
play
play
Vandy.
hypothetical. Let's say A&M wins out. They beat Texas and they beat Georgia. Like, are you gonna put them, even though they have 3 losses, do you put them ahead of the group of 5?
who?
A&M.
Yeah.
the SEC champions getting in over
Yeah,
the group of 5
for sure.
Like there's no
If you go if you go and
Yeah.
beat Texas and beat Georgia,
over
you
the,
have to.
They're getting in over the group of 5, and they're getting in over whoever wins the shambles of the Big 12. But a 3-loss SEC team's getting a higher ranking. Than
Yeah, they're getting a bye.
That's just, and that's why I'm wondering, just because, like I said, I mean,
Which is going to be crazy because the other 2 SEC teams will only have 2 losses.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So at one point we were talking about 3-loss teams not even getting in.
Yeah,
Now we're talking about a 3-loss team having the number 4 seed, right?
for sure.
It's going to be interesting. I mean,
love,
I
love
it.
the parody.
Yeah, I love
It's
it. I love
been
it.
such a fun.
I mean, I
season.
don't. I love the parody. I don't love the situation I'm in, but
Yeah.
I love the parody.
I mean, ditto.
I don't think Lucas feels as great about it.
It's
fun to watch.
No, I love. No,
Like-
I think this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is great. Like now, you're not having Bama like every year, like hoarding the 5 stars and just it's every
Well,
year. Bama, Georgia.
You made this point last night in the group text. Like, I think you have to give Nick Saban more credit now, even than we did when he was the head coach.
Oh,
When you looked at how
absolutely.
he kept his team always engaged and
Yeah.
always on edge, ready to go.
For sure.
Got them up every single week. And you see teams either slip, lose focus, or just drop a game that they shouldn't have dropped. Now, granted, he did have you're just paying players when no one else is paying players, right? So, like, their roster-
Everybody
Everyone was
was.
paying players.
But
Nick Saban does not go into Norman, Oklahoma, and lose that game. And
No,
if he
no,
does,
he
he doesn't
doesn't.
lose 24
No.
to 3.
No, but my whole thing was like it's impressive what he did to
Getting those
keep
kids up.
18 to 21-year-olds engaged week after week
Yeah.
after week, playing consistent
discipline.
football. Even like the reporters and media in Tuscaloosa even said they're like Like this feels so much different than when Saban was here. Like when Saban was here, the whole building was just walking on eggshells. Like don't want to put a foot out of place, like this kind of thing. And now with DeBoer, like it's more free flowing. Like you don't like it's very
they
more
lost
calm.
That game to Vandy, and he walks up and he's got a smile on his face when the reporter's asking him questions, and it's like,
Dude,
Nick
Saban
Saban would never.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like my mom's like fire Kelly, all this stuff. Like he yells at the kids on the sideline. I'm like, dude, have you seen Saban on the sidelines? Like Saban would tear into players.
Face.
Yeah, it's part of the game, and it happens. Every coach will do that. Like I feel like with Kelly, like the cameras just find him every time if something goes down. Like they're looking for that kind of thing.
DeBoer came out after that loss and said, "I don't really know how to give a speech to the players after a loss." Like told that to the media.
Yeah,
Like you don't say that.
That's your problem, right?
Yeah,
there.
you don't say that.
You don't say that. I get what he means because like everywhere he's been before, he's won.
That's
Like
what-
he hasn't had.
I know where
to,
he was
so
coming from with
yeah,
it. He wasn't
it's-
meaning that, but you can't say
No.
that in the media. Like
No.
that's terrible. You gotta no. There's a bad cultural shift going on in Alabama.
yeah. I mean, but again, it's impressive how well Saban did for so long. I mean, especially now, like you see it, like teams are losing to teams they shouldn't be. And again, how do you keep these kids engaged for that long?
Well, and especially with the revolving door of coordinators he had: Kirby Smart,
Yeah.
Sarkisian, what's his
Kiffin.
name? Yeah, Kiffin over
Yeah.
at Ole Miss.
Lanning at Oregon.
Yeah,
I mean,
Dan Lanning. Like,
he's
just
all over
constantly
the
turning over
NCAA.
OCs and still never slipped. Like,
Yeah.
was always
Yeah,
and
that
ready to
just shows
go.
you again, like it comes down to culture. Like as long as you have your culture, like you're good.
I agree. Yeah, it's something for sure. But now he's just pocketing that Geico and freaking.
Aflac.
Oh God,
It's Affleck.
got to get my insurance companies right.
I do love that they put him right next to Pat McAfee every week.
Yeah,
It is so funny to watch.
Literally opposite
Oh, it
personalities.
could not be more different. It's great.
it is. That's such a good show. They're doing good with it,
But at some point, we gotta let Lee Corso go, right?
dude. Yeah,
It's getting hard to watch. I mean, I love the guy, and it's gonna
For sure.
it's gonna be tough without him there. But
So you still put the heads on? I haven't watched.
I
the
mean,
last couple
Kurt
of weeks.
kind of has to. It looks like Kurt's bringing.
Yeah, he still
somebody
does it,
out of the
but-
I'm afraid he's
retirement
going
home.
to tip over. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Another
Kurt looks like
styrofoam, not real heavy, but-
he's helping his grandpa up there every day. It just feels. it's
Well,
hard
like
to
I
watch.
mean, at this point, like Kirk is pretty much like his handler. Like it's
Yeah,
just like
that's what it looks like.
keeping him straight and
Well, I thought they were bringing on McAfee to kind of like be the changing of the guard.
That's
like,
what I
take
thought, too.
over, and it's what it looked like.
well, and even
but-
Saban. Well, I think that's eventually what he's going to do is like I don't know if Saban will be the head like
oh, it's got to be McAfee.
I don't know if he'll put headgear on, but
bro.
It's gotta
I
be
cannot
McAfee.
see Nick Saban being not so fast. Not a chance.
Got to be McAfee. But yeah, I mean,
but I don't know that he wants to do that either because that's like it's Lee Corso's thing. Like, do you want to be the guy that does it after Lee
I
Corso
agree.
does
It
it?
is his thing, but it's also like, I mean,
It's iconic too.
you think Game Day's gonna get rid of that?
I mean, that remains to be seen. They might. It might just be like a retiring of a number. You know, you just
Yeah.
Yeah,
figure
I mean,
something
like-
else out.
Because McAfee's deal is like he always whatever school is, like he sings their song,
Yeah.
right?
Neck.
He did get him to do it.
dude, he did it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, they
It was
do a lot.
hilarious.
He loved
He
it.
laughed. He laughed every single
Pat
time.
loves to push. the
And Nick
limits.
Saban was
What
just sitting there.
ESPN
You
will
could tell
allow.
Nick Saban was just uncomfortable.
But did you watch when he had Brian Kelly on there and he's like, "Coach, I can't hear what they're saying. Can you help me?"
He loves to push the limits, man. With ESPN. No, I think they should get rid of headgear, but I think they should move Pat to be the last one to pick. Like, get the crowd involved and do
Yeah.
that last.
Or find something else. Like get creative and do something else.
Pat
Like
needs to be last moving forward. But yeah, I think you do need.
But do you think like Pat, like do you think McAfee's like a long-term guy on there? Like
I do.
he should be.
has
But-
to be?
well,
He is the show.
Well, I'm just thinking like he's such a growing brand. Like I almost wonder if at some point he may like go do his own kind of thing. You know what I mean?
mean,
like,
I think he really enjoys it though. I think that's the deal. He loves
He
doing
traveling to all the places.
Well,
and-
and like
ESPN pays for it all.
well, and I was gonna say he's already proven that like he can do whatever he wants. Like even going back to like the whole Aaron Rodgers thing, when Aaron Rodgers went on his whole rant and ESPN told him he's not allowed on your show anymore, and the next day he was like, "Come on, dude!" Like,
Yeah.
and ESPN was like, "All right, well, oh well."
I think
He knows he's too important.
Yeah, I think he likes it too much. I think he'll be like the next because obviously he can go do his own thing, but if you think about it, like Corso could have too. Like Corso had a big following. Like Kirk has a they could all have left a long time ago for sure.
Yeah. But I was just really wondering, just because he does have his own podcast and he does like have like his own stuff. Like I just didn't know if it was something like he may go just like this is fun for now, but then like later I'll go do something else.
I mean,
like,
I think it's
he will if it becomes not fun.
Yeah,
right. Like he's at a point where like he's doing it because it's fun. It's not because he's not doing it because he needs the money.
yeah. It's like Rogan doing the UFC commentating.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
like he's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
doing it for fun.
yeah. He's like I get to go to these games or fights. I get to be like
Front
ringside.
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm doing it. Like Rogan even has been on record. He's like at the beginning he did it for free. Like he
Yeah.
literally would just go because he's like I'm literally watching these fights right
from
right
the
up.
best seat. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's happens to be good at it. And same thing with McAfee. He's good at it and he gets to go all these campus locations and you can tell he's like a partier. I've heard that he goes like the night before and just gets like smashed with like
Oh yeah.
all the
dude.
students and like goes and parties and then has to wake up early.
Here, the big question though is, do you think you can make a field goal in front of all those people for all that money?
100%.
33 yards.
Yeah,
Isn't
easy.
that what the one last week
Easy.
was? Or that,
Easy.
$800,000.
Easy.
Yes.
You think?
Yes.
You taking your shoe off?
Kick the shoe
Yes.
off. Like,
I got that all day.
man.
Did y'all see the last one? Like it wasn't him. It was a girl that actually got picked, and she gave it to
Yeah.
this
And
other
so then
guy.
they split it.
Yeah,
but
he
they
boomed it. He
negotiated.
boomed it, right?
Yeah.
He was a soccer player.
Yeah. I got that all day.
That's a lot of
Was
pressure,
that-
dude. I don't know.
That wasn't yesterday. That was
No, that was
That was
last week.
Last week, yeah. And then I think the only other one that made it was the kid at A&M at the beginning of the season.
There's been one more.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't realize they do that in a raffle. It's like the first 300 people that get in, it's a raffle, and like you get your raffle ticket drawn. I didn't realize
The
that's-
best one was the dude's shoe went flying into the stands.
That's a bad kick.
Yeah.
Well, dude, like it's hilarious because McAfee just absolutely trashes him. It's like,
Yeah.
this guy sucks. Oh man, but there were other games going on too. But what's up,
Did y'all see that hit against Shador Sanders?
Yeah.
dude? That
Holy
was
guys,
bad.
like,
Wow.
Bad,
And no
dude.
flag. No flag. That is wild.
It was
Yeah.
Holy cow.
it was rough in the passer, and it was unnecessary roughness because you can't go low
Below
like
the
that.
knee.
Yeah,
And they didn't call either one.
Ooh, I mean, he's lucky his foot wasn't planted.
Oh,
'Cause if
that
that
would've
foot was
been
planted,
bad.
that leg's torched.
J-
I mean,
just
it's,
knee in general. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it's
yeah.
bad. And I'm not a huge Dion guy or Shador guy, but like just seeing that's like
Just football wise, you
Like-
cannot miss that call.
There's also an argument to be made about targeting. Like he led with the crown.
Yeah.
Like literally,
Yeah.
like his head was straight down on his knee. Like
was
it's
bad.
that wasn't great. And speaking of like bouncing too, like possibly leaving places, Coach Prime might be gone too. Like I don't think he's there next year.
Julian Lewis just committed to Colorado.
yeah. They just got a 5-star quarterback.
number
like,
one quarterback.
That
in the
doesn't mean
country.
anything.
Or number two, or I guess depending
Behind
on-
Bryce.
Where's he gonna go?
Bryce is easy. The Cowboys.
Yeah, Jerry's gonna
They're-
fire Mike
dude,
McCarthy.
I'm pretty sure- no,
hire
dude.
Dion and draft Shador.
Stop. Stop.
Dude, hey Brian,
Stop.
Brian, I
Stop.
I'm gonna,
gonna happen.
Brian. I'm not saying this as like just like rile you up. There's a lot of like very like people online
God,
that are
dude.
talking that like this is an actual like major.
Michael
possibility.
Irvin is actively recruiting him.
Yeah, no,
Like,
no, literally.
God.
If you're Dion and you have your choice between Dallas Cowboys as the head coach with your son Shador, or going to Florida State and taking over from Mike Norvell, because I think he's probably gone.
He's not.
No,
You know,
he's
he's-
safe. He's safe. I said this before. They're literally going to act like the season of 2024 never happened. They're going to wipe it from their brain.
Then what happens next year when they drop like 2 of their first 3?
Then he gets
Then
fired.
it gets, then, it
Yeah.
gets,
Yeah.
then there's a hot seat. But like right now, they're just like, let's just get.
I
out
mean,
of
like,
2024.
I wouldn't, like, I don't think it would be the worst thing if they fired him just because if you look at his resume overall, like, if you, so you're saying, like, they're scrapping this season, but if you scrap last season, like, look at what his record's like.
Yeah,
It's
not
like, it's
great.
very average.
But so
Maybe if they actually put him on the hot seat, they'd get better because, like, look what happened in Florida. Billy Napier was dead to rights. Like there's 3 weeks of the season they were like, why haven't they not fired him yet? Mm-hmm. Now Florida is playing
But-
unbelievable and he is firmly safe at that
Yeah.
job. So
But
if they
Florida
just put him on the hot seat, maybe they'll
Yeah.
get better.
Aggie
I
played
feel
him at
like-
the right time.
But I feel like Florida State, they the way their roster's set up, they play a dangerous game. They're going very heavy into NIL and the transfer portal. So they're using all their funds for NIL to try to get this transfer portal. That's why they were so good last year. They went out and got big-time defensive linemen, big-time wide receivers that made things happen. Obviously, the quarterback gets hurt and they don't get in, but
I think it's safer to dump your NIL into the transfer portal than it is
But-
18-year-old kids out of high school.
yes, but with
It's
the
not sustainable, but
that's what I mean. It's not sustainable. You have to make sure that all those kids hit on the transfer portal. At least with the high school ranks, you can build them up, and you'll see like over time who's going to be able to make it or not, and you can develop them how you want to develop them. I feel like there needs to be a good combination of both. Like you need to build your roster through the high school ranks, develop them, and then supplement with the portal. Like
Yeah,
you said,
'cause-
like we're not very good at defensive line this year. Our interior defensive line is bad. Let's go to the portal and let's go get a big dude in and bring him in. But Florida State last year, all of those guys from the transfer portal, they were done. They were seniors. They went to the NFL, all that stuff, and then they tried to do it again, and a lot of those people didn't hit.
Well,
like
I mean-
DJU, look where he ended.
That's
like
true.
you know what I
Coming
mean?
back.
I
He's
mean
coming
that's
back.
that's crazy.
The
But
fact they even want him back.
we
Yeah.
saw that at Texas State too. The guy before GJ Kinney, Spavital.
Yeah.
He had that where like they didn't take a single high school recruit. It was just transfer
Yeah.
portal, and it didn't work, and he was gone.
it
Well,
didn't
yeah, but
hit.
he was also getting all junior college guys. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't
well,
like
Bad at A&M. I don't know
little-
why y'all hired him.
he was bad everywhere. Like,
Yeah. But no, and so that's the game you play. That's the risk you take whenever you do that. Because if you don't have that depth in the high school either, like somebody goes down, now what's going to happen?
Well, and I would say the same thing. Like you're talking about Texas State, so like I know it's on a lower scale, but like the last 2 years, like they've taken an uber experienced quarterback in. So you had TJ Finley for a year, lost him. Now this year you've got McLeod. He's gone, and now you got another guy coming in.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing. Like you're not able to establish a consistent
Well, they did program
program.
a 3-star quarterback from OU.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. But and then apparently they have a guy that's like coming up. But if you keep trying to like pick guys out of the transfer portal that's come in for 1 year, like I just don't know like if that's sustainable because like you're not able to build a culture around that guy. Like it's just he's pretty much just coming in to hopefully win for 1 year. But
Yeah, I mean it remains to be seen. But back to Sanders at Dallas. No, I just wanted to go back to it.
Rabbit
No.
I was trying to get away from it.
and I could tell. But no. So we actually had that conversation earlier this year. Like we
know.
were talking about like once his kids are graduated, like what's the incentive of him staying at Colorado? Like legitimately, because at the end of the day, Colorado's Colorado. Like
I don't know. Boulder's pretty nice.
Boulder's very nice, but like they don't have the tradition and like they're not a deeply rooted football school.
But is
You
that
know what I
something
mean?
he cares about? Do you think?
I think he cares about coaching his kids.
Well, yeah. So
And-
okay, so even
and
if
that's why he's there.
Even
And
if it wasn't Colorado, if it was somewhere else, you think he'd still leave once his kids graduated?
it depends on what school it was.
Okay.
I
Like
mean,
if it was
to
Florida
me-
State, he wouldn't leave.
Well-
Like that's but Florida State didn't want him, and that's why I feel like Colorado was the one school that wanted. Like we're willing to take a shot on him.
When I was going to say, even before the whole Cowboys
Yeah.
conversation came up, I know we talked about like him possibly just walking away completely
Yeah.
after this year. Just like Shadur's gone, Shiloh's gone.
Is Shiloh a senior as well?
Yeah,
Or
I
draft
think
eligible?
so. Well, that dude ain't getting drafted.
I know he's not getting drafted. But I didn't
He's
know.
a senior, and
Okay.
his football days are numbered.
Well, he broke his ankle, didn't he?
Forearm.
Or yeah, I was gonna say.
After
I was gonna say.
that game?
I don't know what game it was, but I think he's done for the year. Like
'Cause
I don't
he,
think.
he picked that ball off against Tech, and that's where like the Texas Tech ball kid slapped the ball out of his hand, and then Deion Jr. got all up in his face.
It may have been that game, but I don't know. But yeah, but I'm pretty sure he's out for the season. But
Yeah.
I remember seeing a tweet like somebody was like, "Is he getting drafted?" And somebody was like, "Yeah, I mean, if Biden brings it back or something."
No, not.
But yeah, no, it's I don't know if he stays. I mean, he might. He actually might.
I mean, to be honest, like, there's no reason for him to stay in Boulder, Colorado.
No.
I mean, and so like oh god, dude.
It's gonna happen. It's a Jerry move. It's a total Jerry move.
That would be like a legacy move.
Well,
for Jared.
and honestly, I feel like Jerry at this point is just making moves out of spite. Like,
Yeah.
if you listen to the way he's talking to the media and the way, dude, so like he argued up and down about like putting curtains over the windows. Like, it's a spectacle. And then they have Tyson
home-
versus
it's our home
Paul.
field advantage.
They have Tyson versus Paul for a night fight. And guess what's on the windows? Freaking curtains. Like, and it's not a 3:30 game where CeeDee Lamb can't catch a ball because he can't see the ball.
I went to a
Like,
concert there earlier this year, and they had curtains up.
yeah, so the curtains exist. It's
yeah,
just,
they're there.
but it doesn't look cool on TV. It looks cool whenever it's like that cool shine of the sun, and Jerry gets to see it. And
You get that shot going into commercial break. It's like, oh, look at the sun right in your eyes. It's
yes,
like, oh, great, my quarterback's got to look at that too. That's awesome.
God, dude.
I don't think the sun being in Dak's eyes matters.
Oh, definitely not.
But
No,
but
it does
There's
not
other
matter.
issues.
but kind of led the podcast though on teams not taking advantage of what's in front of them. Ole Miss,
Yeah.
another one, man.
Dude, so
Dude,
so Jackson Dart threw 3 interceptions in the last 2 minutes, right?
it was bad.
Like he, because they said he threw a pick, went to the sideline, cried, and then they got the ball back, and then threw another pick, went back to the sideline and cried.
But dude,
Like actual tears?
I actually, dude, like the second one, like he's like in the coach's lap, like on the bench, like crying, like.
but dude, it was like I think it was just like miscommunication with the receiver because like
Well,
those
it was because
receivers-
he was supposed to keep going.
could tell.
And he stopped. Yeah, and he stopped.
But it was
instead
the
of going.
same route on both. It seemed like it was the same route on both picks
Yeah,
too,
man.
which is just unfortunate for them. But I mean,
like, and we talked about it before the season started. Like, I mean, this was Lane Kiffin's year to like
Yeah.
make it happen.
and it was there.
Like the schedule was aligned in your favor to have a
Yeah.
great season. Like, I mean, you give them like I'll give you the LSU game. I mean, that's a tough one to win, but the rest of them, I mean, Georgia at home. I mean, like the rest of the games like are very winnable.
I mean, that was a
Losing to Kentucky at home,
home
like
is
that's
inexcusable.
bad. Like
dominant win against Georgia too. Like that was a dominant win.
that's what I mean. So the talent's there.
Oh,
It's just-
absolutely, absolutely. But I think I saw something like before the game they had an 86% chance to make the playoff, and now it's down to like 6.
well, yeah,
like, it's
'cause
pretty
I
much
think
shot.
I think they're at number 16,
Yeah,
and all they have left is Mississippi State.
yeah. They
so-
just have to hope everybody else loses.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
needs to. That's ahead of them, obviously, so they could jump in. But yeah, they pissed down their leg for sure. Again, Bama losing to OU, like
That was
Not just losing.
That one's
getting their
worse
not scoring a
Ole Miss.
touchdown, not scoring a
getting
touchdown.
Absolutely just destroyed.
And we've talked about it all year. Jalen Milroe not being a good quarterback, 3 picks.
is
Awful.
Is Alabama like the most Jekyll and Hyde team in the last decade? Like they just look like an amazing team one day and then just terrible.
but
the
Alabama to me has not looked amazing ever this year.
No,
Like-
not at
like-
any point.
They looked really good that first half against Georgia.
They
next.
looked.
They looked really good against
Yeah,
LSU.
I was gonna say that
Looked really
Jalen
good
Milroe
against
looked.
LSU.
Jalen Milroe looked like a Heisman winning quarterback against LSU but he couldn't throw the ball.
He has a deep ball and that's it. He can't throw intermediate
Dude,
or short.
he
I don't
can't
think
throw
he has a
deep
deep ball.
either.
I think
Can
he
he
has,
not throw deep
I
balls
think he has
either?
good receivers.
Yes, he has Ryan Williams that can run to the ball.
Did,
Like,
did y'all see the touchdown they got called back?
yes, dude, that was an unbelievable catch.
Like
He's
Jalen Milroe.
17 years old.
yes,
Yeah, it's crazy.
wild.
I feel like
He's a high school senior.
I feel like every
playing
time
amongst
he's
men.
on TV, 17-year-old Ryan Williams. Like, yeah, we got it.
Against LSU, Jalen Milroe missed 2 wide open, like literally just overthrew Williams twice for touchdowns, and they ended up having a punt. Like the one time they punted all game.
I didn't get to watch any games yesterday other than the Texas game, so I was driving back.
That's fair. But no,
You
like
didn't miss anything in that game.
I saw the score. That
I kept watching the score come up below during the A&M game, and I was okay. At some point, Bama's going to score, right? I mean, this is Oklahoma. At some point, and just 10-3, 17-3, 24-3. Well, what is going on?
Yeah, and you see Jackson Arnold threw for 72 yards,
Yeah.
and he run for? He ran for like 150 or
160.
yeah, it was something crazy.
Like,
well, as a Texas fan, there's no love lost for OU at all. But man, it's fun watching Alabama lose.
It's awesome.
I was gonna say like, you know,
Welcome to the SEC. Everybody, every
So much
year is just
fun.
so excited when Bama loses. But it means less now that Saban's not there again. But
No,
It's
I
still-
still like seeing
yeah,
them
as
lose.
an
but dude, but just going back to
I like
that,
seeing all of them lose. Like if every SEC team could lose, I'd like that's best case scenario.
but going
That's
back to
possible.
Alabama though, so A&M loses in quadruple overtime, and they drop 6 spots, and then Alabama gets blown out to an unranked team, and they drop 5 spots.
Again,
like-
I think part of it is the AP. They're voting on
Bama bias.
yeah, they're voting on the logo. They're voting on the logo. I'm sure. I hope the committee tomorrow or Tuesday when it
Takes
comes
care of
out,
business.
yeah, makes it known. I don't think they will either. But
But again, but who?
SEC bias when it comes to the committee.
But who are you gonna put above them? That's what I'm saying. Like,
Someone who like
Clemson.
if you lose
Clemson's back in it.
because that Vanderbilt
Arizona
loss,
State.
but Clemson's already ahead of them.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Arizona State should jump them.
they're one behind.
But
yeah.
Arizona State, like, so the Arizona State, if they win the Big 12, they'll obviously jump ahead of
Yeah.
them. But that's what I'm saying. But who else? Like,
What were you saying though?
Well, it's what like they lost that Vanderbilt game.
Yeah.
And the score was close, but they lost that game. Like Vanderbilt beat them the entire game.
Yeah,
And then they just go get trounced by a very bad OU team.
very bad.
Not good at all. And yeah, you like I said, you dropped. I think they dropped 4 spots after losing to Vandy, and then they dropped 5 spots after losing to unranked OU, who's like what 5-5 now.
Yeah.
6-5.
Well, 6 and
now.
5.
6 and
Like,
5 now. Bowl bound, baby.
They have the
it's a
same record as Texas State.
God. But Alabama lost to someone else.
Yeah.
Who'd they lose
Georgia,
to?
not Georgia.
They beat Georgia.
Tennessee.
Tennessee, that's right.
So you've got like it. I don't. It's wild. Like the first loss to Vanderbilt and them only dropping the 4-5 spots, whatever it was just like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if the rankings are anywhere close to like what they are right now, like Miami and SMU are 8 and 9, so
One of them's losing.
yeah, so one of them's going to lose. So like the assumption is that. So do you keep the loser if it's a close game? Do you keep them in the playoff and leave Alabama out, or do you drop whichever one of those teams is? Because if SMU loses in the ACC conference game, that's their only conference loss.
Yeah.
And so
you're back to a 2-loss team that played in their championship game.
that's what I'm saying. So that's part of the argument, though. Do you put a 3-loss Alabama in there, or do you leave a 2-loss SMU?
No.
But if you
You
go,
leave them in.
Well, we found out what the committee wanted to do last year whenever they left freaking Florida State out. They put
yeah.
Alabama in there over them.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Put
So
the best team in. Now, then the argument is, well, does SMU beat Alabama, or does Miami beat?
like
Alabama?
okay, so another scenario.
I think again with how, and this is what we talked about too in our group chat, is like we were talking about how many teams do you realistically could win the national championship. I mean, right now I feel like 10 to 15.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know.
I think 10 or 15 teams could
To win it?
to win it all.
Yeah. On
Absolutely.
any given Saturday.
On any given Saturday, I
Any-
think 10 to 15 could win it all.
Yeah.
I mean, when Wisconsin is playing Oregon 16 to 13, like they're not unbeatable. Like Boise State almost beat them in Eugene. Like
Well, and like the Big Ten this year is like the SEC in the past. It's top heavy with 2 teams, and then it's a lot of mediocrity.
and Penn State gave Ohio State all they wanted.
Yeah.
Like I honestly think there are probably 10 to 15 teams that could realistically win it all. You don't agree?
I don't think 15. I mean, I would probably say 8 to 10, maybe. I mean, like, how many teams do you like legitimately think could win it right now?
Right now, 3.
Like, who are your 3
Or
teams
4. I think there's 4 teams that can actually win it.
A&M.
No. A&M's gonna go 8 and 5. We're gonna lose Saturday, then we're gonna lose our bowl game because everybody's gonna transfer and it's gonna be a meltdown. It's just we're done. It's over. I'm done with it. No, Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, and I guess Texas. Still.
I was gonna say,
I
dude,
guess
like
Texas.
you can't
I
leave
not say-
Texas out of the
I can't not
conversation.
say
Like,
Texas.
But I can make the argument that Georgia has, like, if Georgia goes out and plays like they did against freaking Kentucky, like I think they have just as good of a shot as, like, I think Arizona State has just as good a shot at beating Georgia as Kentucky did.
I guess my problem is, I guess here comes SEC bias. I'm just not convinced that Kentucky isn't a decent team in the Big 12. Kentucky isn't a decent team in the ACC. Like, they look like a terrible team in the SEC, but look what the SEC's doing to each other.
I mean, yes, but Vanderbilt beat Alabama
Yes.
and also lost to Georgia State. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like on
Notre Dame is number 5, losing to Northern Illinois.
exactly. That's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm getting at.
They've climbed all the way back
Back.
up,
I mean, they.
and it's just because
Notre Dame's
everybody
in
else
the
is
playoff.
cannibalizing
I mean,
each other.
but so we're talking about the playoff. You look at where the playoff sits right now. 9 of the 12 spots are locked up. Oregon's locked in. Ohio State's locked in. Texas is locked in, even if they
Yeah,
lose.
Texas is
Penn
locked in.
State's locked in. Notre Dame is locked in. I think Miami and SMU are locked in if they both take care of business. I don't think the one gets bumped. It'd be hard to bump Indiana.
well, so
And then
I don't know, after they got
Boise
their-
or Tulane gets in as the group of 5. So you're looking
Possibly
at
both.
So the only teams that are not a lock. No, Tennessee's a lock. If Tennessee beats Vandy, they're number 7. They're a lock. Tennessee's in the best spot of the SEC group and Texas.
yeah,
you don't have to
because
worry
all they
about
have to
the
do is
championship.
win and not play championship.
So you don't
games,
think
Yeah.
Tennessee could win a national championship this year?
I think with a lot of help, but I just
Like if they're in the playoff, you don't think they can go on a run and win a natty? Especially if on the other side of the bracket, say Ohio State plays I don't know,
Texas.
Texas,
They matched up early
and they get matched up early, and one of those Texas knocks out Ohio
I guess
State.
if you just do based off the any given Saturday idea, possibly.
Well, if
but
there's a year to buy into that, that's
just
this
watching
year.
the teams, I just think Oregon and Ohio State are far and away the best two teams in the country.
See,
I mean, I disagree because I mean, look at their strength of schedule. The best team they've played is each other.
Yeah. So it doesn't give you much to go off of.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think
and
by just watching it, yeah, the Big Ten. That's why I'm still going back to the SEC is going to probably get 3 teams in, and there's a good chance one of them is playing the national title, depending on how the rankings shake out. Because the SEC is just better.
but are they?
Okay, but now we're saying the Big Ten's not, even though they have the 2 best. They have 3 teams in the top 4. But we're saying that the Big Ten isn't. Are they as good just because they play nobody?
Well, I mean, what I'm trying to get at is I don't think there's not a dominant group of teams this year. I think the playing field is as level as it always as it ever has been, and I feel like
I would agree with that.
I
just
feel like
don't think there's a long list of teams that can actually win it.
I mean,
But like
if they get hot at the right time, they start playing.
But
good
like
football.
you said too, it could also come down to matchups. So like
could absolutely come down to
because like
matchups.
it could be like a team, like somebody beats another team that matches up better with you during that round, and that goes your way.
Exactly, because like right now, Ohio State would be the 5th seed right now.
And
Right.
and probably in the best spot out of everybody. Again, like your first 2 games are like cakewalks. You're playing the 12 seed, which is possibly the either Boise Tulane, the Big 12.
I mean,
champ.
yeah, because they'll win and then they'll play the ACC champion.
But you also have to play them and stay healthy. Like, that's the other caveat. Like, having that bye week, that is a nice thing to have because it's...
Is it?
it's
a lot of teams have choked off of buys this year.
I would
Yeah.
say I
lot of
actually
teams
would
have
not want to.
choked.
I would not want to buy, to be honest.
A&M had had 3 bye weeks to get ready for Auburn and couldn't beat them. Like after South Carolina, we had a bye week. Then we played a team, but it was a bye week. Then you had all
Nicholls
this week.
State, I think.
So you had
New
New Mexico State.
So you've had
Come on.
you've had
Sorry,
3 weeks to
excuse
get
me.
ready for Auburn. You can't beat them. So like, having buys. I mean, yeah, if you're hurt, if you're already
If you're
hurt,
trying to get healthy.
if you're trying to get healthy, I can see it. But sitting out is not always the best.
But like if Penn State plays Ohio State again, like that could be a totally different game. And I want to talk a little bit about the Indiana game against Ohio State because that game got turned on its head after that punt return. Like
Correct.
Indiana was staying in the game the entire time. That punt return didn't help, and then there was I think there was a fumbled snap on a punt that gave Ohio State the ball on like the 2-yard line.
Yeah, the return touchdown.
And so the score obviously things happen in games. You got to be better than that on special teams because obviously it's the third phase of the game. But Indiana hung in there for quite a bit.
Defensively, they hung in there.
Defensively for sure.
Ohio State does that though. I think Ryan Day has a set playlist. Like they just run out there and they look awful. They never score first. They always give up points, and then after they give up points, they go and slaughter everybody. After that.
Well, so right now, just based off the result and the way the game looked, I mean, is there an argument that Indiana's number 13
I think it's absolutely
at
argument.
11-1?
I
Yeah.
think you could say that back to the Big Ten's very top heavy, and Indiana's they had the 106th ranked strength of schedule.
Yes, but we went through their schedule a few weeks ago, and like you have to play your schedule, and they did
I
their
agree.
job, and they didn't just like sneak out wins like Miami did. They
It was
trounced.
BCS style.
Yeah, they trounced
They
kids.
did everything they're supposed to do, so they will get in because they did that. I'm not going to say that there's not 12 teams better than them. There's probably definitely 12 other teams. There's probably a 3-loss SEC team better than Indiana that can definitely beat them on any Saturday.
But and that goes to say that Indiana could also do the same. Indiana could beat any of those teams
So,
at any given Saturday.
To my point, at 10-1 and ranked number 10, I think they're safely in the playoff. Playing
Yes.
1-10 Purdue, they should be safely in the playoff.
I mean, obviously, Vegas isn't going to give you good odds for Indiana to win the national championship, obviously. But if things shake the right way, I mean,
No, because they'd have to play Oregon, Ohio State, and
they might not. Because if Oregon or Ohio State lose to somebody else, then they might be getting somebody else. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm getting at. The way that the bracket is shakes out, like Ohio State could lose first round and be knocked out. You know what I mean? That's a possibility.
do we need to get rid of the 4 thing at the front. Like you can still give the conferences an automatic bid, but stop giving them the higher rank.
I think
just rank them how you should.
I think they should get rid of that and add 4 more teams and just do 16 teams. Just do a bracket. Just do a normal ass bracket. Like
16-team playoff.
Yeah.
And then, your 4 conference championship game winners.
go 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure.
Like,
One plays 16, 2 plays 15. Let's do it that way.
If you're gonna do a 16-team playoff, do you even need the conference championship?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like
No.
what you're saying now is like you just negate the need for a conference championship.
You start that week.
And so then
I
you
think
just do the running
I think
total.
you negate the need for it right now. There's
it matters really big for A&M.
yes it does, but should it?
No,
After what A&M did, should that like do you really think that Texas A&M is better than let's say Tennessee, who won't be able to play in the national championship game?
I think the AP ranked us 20. I think we're probably somewhere in the 20-25 range.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly where we should be.
For sure.
We are not a playoff team.
That's why
we will lose in the first round if we somehow get there. But our only path is because of a conference championship.
Yes.
So if a conference championships go away, like those aren't possible.
Which
Or
shouldn't be.
They probably shouldn't be.
Like on merit, they probably shouldn't be there.
Like I mean, and
LSU's the same way because LSU had a path. If they would have beat Florida, they beat Vanderbilt this week. All LSU would have to do is go beat OU and have Arkansas beat Missouri, which could happen,
Which is,
easily
very
happen.
happen.
And LSU's in the SEC championship game. Did they deserve to be there? Absolutely not.
No.
They're not a good football team. But so I think conference championship games should just go kick rocks. It's literally a money grab. It's an extra game. It's an extra game for Dr. Pepper to give scholarships at halftime.
Yeah.
Especially if I think we're kind of agreeing that both teams that are playing in them are probably getting in anyway. So
For the most part,
it
yeah.
just comes down for seeding.
Yeah.
Well, the Big 12
And
is an
it's-
example where they're not. Like, it's important for them.
That's true. Well,
But do you think they deserve? Do you think the Big 12 deserves to get a team in?
I mean,
I think you, unless you're just going to do away with conferences altogether, which I know you're in favor of, and just make it one giant mega conference.
Then take the conference winner, regular season winner.
Well, that's hard to do if you don't play everybody.
well, you just have to have all these tiebreakers.
Yeah, there's
But
tiebreakers.
then there comes the arguments. And
Yeah, but
everything.
then you look at strength of schedule. So
Like, see, there's that. How A&M is the highest person in the SEC with their strength of record.
But
of opponents.
It's strength of record of SEC opponents. So
exactly, but we
yeah.
ain't played nobody.
Yeah, but
Somehow they have the best record.
it's because y'all didn't play Mississippi State.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, did y'all really? That sucks.
Yeah.
but is it? Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But so is it based on like the strength of schedule at the time though?
No,
It's not. It's
Because-
record.
'cause if you
it's
look at it-
conference, it's
It's conference opponent record.
winning
Because
percentage.
if you look at it right now, they played one ranked team, and that's Notre Dame.
yes, but that's not
I
conference.
guess you,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. So like, I guess you could count Missouri. Missouri's number 23.
Yep.
But that's what I'm saying. So like, they've played.
We're getting a lot
so
of
they
hope
played
from Missouri.
two
Actually.
ranked
And
teams.
LSU.
Because Missouri's 8-3.
And LSU, they just won another one.
Missouri's 8-3. South
Yeah, but
Carolina's
LSU's not
8-3.
ranked anymore.
No, but their winning percentage is good. Like they have a winning percentage. They have above 500 winning percentage.
True.
Like we didn't have to go. Well, Florida rebounding has
Yeah.
been big.
Yeah, that is true.
But I think Florida is one of those common opponents for everybody. Like I think Florida played all the teams that are up there. They played Tennessee, they played Georgia, they played Texas, they played A&M, they played LSU.
Yeah, A&M is 28-29. Their opponents' records.
Yeah.
I think Georgia was 26-30, and Texas is 26-32 or something.
yeah,
So that's the way it shakes out.
because I think A&M's like the only one of the top ones that didn't play Georgia, Alabama, or Tennessee.
Because A&M didn't play Kentucky either. They're like 1-6,
Yeah,
like or 1-7 now. Like so
they didn't play Vanderbilt. Who?
Vanderbilt has a winning record.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so they're
In conference though,
Yeah, or Vanderbilt and LSU had the exact same record yesterday. Actually, it might be 3-3. They might not anymore after LSU just beat them.
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how the committee shake this out.
yeah.
But
Vanderbilt's
I-
3-4.
Like looking at the deal though,
Yeah, they were 3-3 yesterday.
I think there's already 9 spots like locked up. Like so, you're kind of playing for like 3 spots at this
The
point.
spots may be locked up, but the seating.
The seating's not at all.
And
the,
so-
the seating's not at all.
and the committee can go in there and say we're only putting
Yeah.
one ACC team in. They could easily do that.
I just then you're gonna punish a team for playing it in your conference championship.
Yes.
Because that's a one-loss team until the conference championship.
They punished Florida State for not losing a game. They did
Yeah,
that.
They did that.
Yeah, but I think we all agree that was.
I disagree.
You didn't think that was the right decision last year?
No.
What?
Alabama was not a good football team last
Okay,
year.
well,
It was
Alabama was not a good football team, and
It was the right decision for moving forward because you knew they were going to get trounced. But that means then nothing
now-
they did all year
year
mattered.
mattered.
there's
at all.
there's now a precedence to do that now. Now there's a precedence to say the eye test shows me that SMU not that good.
Yeah.
They're out.
That'd be like saying if Curtis O'Rourke from Indiana gets hurt against Purdue, and now Indiana's 10-1 with their quarterback hurt, they're out.
Or this. Say
Or
UT,
Cam Ward goes
say
down.
Say UT. I don't know the situation with Quinn Ewers. Say he's out for the season. Say
They would then,
say
they would-
Arch goes. I hope this doesn't happen, but say Arch goes at A&M, out for the season. Texas is now not in. Texas is out. Because-
I
Why?
would probably agree with that though.
Why?
Because I don't think that they are one of the best 12 teams
Defensively, you don't think,
That's only one part of the game.
but that's an important part.
But that
of
was
the
the
game.
argument.
That's what won Michigan a national championship.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying.
But so-
and a lot
I
of
would-
shady shit underneath. Oh, there's a second beat.
If you
Underneath Harbaugh.
if you talk about running a third string quarterback out there, like no, I don't think they're one of the top 12 teams. Now, are you having to,
I
are you
disagree.
having to do conjecture with that? Yeah, you absolutely are. Is it a like field pick? Sure, but
Because like you're saying, oh, now Texas's entire offensive line and run game doesn't matter. They can play ball control the entire game and
I'm not
play
saying it
defense.
doesn't matter. I'm saying I could understand, and
If Texas got left out, if that
it would
situation
suck.
occurs,
It'd piss me off.
I disagree.
There's no way at number 3 in the 12-team
No.
field they fall out.
No, I don't think that.
If they lose to A&M and they lose their starting and backup
A
quarterbacks,
lot of other stuff would have to fall.
but
right?
that's what happened to Florida State. Because Florida State's defense was legit last year,
Well,
and then they go to the bowl game and lose bad, but they also had everybody opt out.
but it was also a 4-team versus a 12-team.
Absolutely,
different.
it is very different. But how can you go and say you literally did everything right? You trained all off season. You won every single game you played. You can't play for a natty. Sorry.
You don't-
One guy got hurt, and then your backup got hurt. Sorry. Go home.
Sorry.
That's crazy. There's never been, even since like the gladiator times, like an undefeated like warrior going against lions. Like obviously, if you lose, you're dead. So like you're gonna be challenging every single time. Or in boxing, let's say boxing or the Olympics. Like if you never lose, you're the champion. But like you at least get a shot to be the champion.
Yeah, you get a chance. Okay.
Like in the UFC, if you never lose, you're eventually going to be able to have a title fight. But what they're not going to be like, oh, you don't look right. Like you look like you're hobbled today.
Okay. In a UFC fight, would you get a championship fight if you had a broken leg? Probably not.
For sure. But that's one person. But they at least had the opportunity to heal, and then they'll go back and do it. Like eventually they would. Like they didn't even give him a chance, and that's where I disagree.
It sucked for the kids. I hated it for the kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like that sucked. I understood what they meant by it, but you're right. It sets up a bad precedence. Going
Awful
forward.
precedents. And now this situation can happen this year. They could leave out a team for because the eye test. Because we're in a ballroom in Dallas.
What, I think-
my eye
I think
test.
I think we've already set it up. Somebody's going to
Crazy,
get left
dude.
out.
I mean, it's going to happen because
Well, yeah, somebody's going to get
one
left
of those
out for sure.
So, but kind of going back to the ACC. So we're saying you could say one team gets in, but Miami's also a big name. So if SMU beats Miami, do you leave Miami in?
Money talks, bullcrap walks.
But that's what I'm saying. So it could come down to, do you leave Miami in or do you put Alabama in?
I mean, and that's a precedent.
And that's where, but that's where,
Clemson's ahead of Alabama.
and that's where I think it come down to. I think that's where Indiana gets screwed.
South Carolina's beating Clemson. But who gets screwed?
In Indiana.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, so if you look at the eye test or the money and everything, who's the one team that stands out? Indiana. They went 11-1. They played one good team and they got blown out.
Yeah.
Even though they only had one loss and they rolled everybody else, they got one loss.
I mean,
I
They're-
think the
they're
same
not a
argument
pretty team.
for Miami.
I'd make this-
Miami's been in dogfights week after week,
Hail Marys, like
And-
weird.
and they have
Stuff
one
going
loss.
on.
They finally got caught, but like they're 10-1. But the eye test says, is Miami really that good? Because I mean, Cam Ward's that good. So
Because
I test.
You can make the same.
Are they a great team?
And you can make the same argument for Texas. The only good team that they're going to be playing is Georgia because A&M ain't.
Yeah.
I agree. I said before the podcast, the line's 5.5. Take Texas. Outright.
Texas in the points for sure.
Texas.
No, yeah.
All right, because the game matters. If the game didn't matter, I'd A&M by 2 touchdowns if the game didn't matter. But the game
Yeah,
matters.
just to play spoilers for sure.
Yeah. That's the most A&M thing ever. And I said this to Lucas last week. The most A&M thing ever would be to go lose to Auburn and then go beat the snot out of Texas when it doesn't matter anymore. Unfortunately, it somehow still matters, so it won't happen. But
After everything.
Dude, that's going to be a crazy atmosphere, though. Even though,
Yeah.
even with
game
the loss.
6:30
game day
kick.
still went after we got embarrassed at Auburn. So
I mean, it was going there regardless. That was going. I think game day that was set in stone from week
Oh,
one.
yeah.
I mean, A&M is notoriously bad when game day shows up to town, though. So
The
they
last
should be
time-
worried.
The last time one of our only wins in recent memory was 2016. Tennessee came to town and we won in overtime or double overtime, and did not play well. We just happened to win. But yeah, we are not good on game day, which goes along with everything else. We're not good at all. I mean, we're just not a good football.
I mean, honestly, like, just depending on how yours goes, I could see this game being very similar to the Notre Dame game, where it's like a very
Defensive-minded,
low
yeah.
scoring, like
But
comes down to
also
kind of the running game.
Never felt like A&M is going to be in it.
Yeah.
'Cause I never felt in the Notre Dame game.
No, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it never felt like they were going to win that game. So
It's just,
Fun times, dude.
hey,
get
Love
it
it.
over with.
it's gonna be a great rivalry weekend, dude.
I think so.
You got
It is.
you got the Egg Bowl coming up, Mississippi and Mississippi State.
That's,
I mean,
just awesome.
lot
Florida State.
Florida, man, dude. I know we were talking about before the pod. It's so disappointing that Florida's playing well, dude.
I was
Yeah.
really
Because remember we were
mad.
talking about, like, we were saying it was going to be like 2-9 Florida versus 2-9 Florida State.
Yeah.
Who's the battle of Norvell and Napier? Like,
I mean, Florida's the number 1 team in the country, though.
yeah, dude, they beat
Or
they
Kansas.
beat Ole Miss.
They beat
so.
Ole Miss.
Or
dude.
Kansas. Everybody, yeah. National championship right now, best teams in the country.
Colorado
Kansas
was
and
so
Florida.
close, dude. Colorado was so close.
They looked like crap.
They played Kansas at the wrong time, dude. How do you put the Heisman pose twice
'Cause
in
he's
the
winning the
same
Heisman.
game, and you get blown out by 17 to Kansas, dude? Like,
Dude, Kansas is hot right now.
yeah.
And they've won 3 in a row. Should have won 4 in a row because they should have beat Kansas State as well.
That's why I picked them last week, man.
Yeah,
They're hot.
I
Playing really
so
well.
adamantly, Colorado's my Big 12 champ. They're winning the Big 12, and they just go crap the bed like that.
Sounds like
So-
another team I know.
Yeah,
LSU.
Yeah.
LSU.
Obviously, yeah, LSU.
yeah,
For sure.
I'm gonna.
LSU's trash too, dude. Don't worry.
It's just a rough time in sports for all the teams I like. I need to just pick new teams. Maybe the teams I actually want to win. Then we'll start winning.
No, don't count on it.
Be a Cowboys fan, dude.
I mean, there's not much. I mean, the Texans beat the
Yeah.
Cowboys.
Then you
so
can
that's
talk about
bad.
the same thing until January. So
Y'all heard the joke about why no one in Dallas was really upset about that Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, right? And how much of a snoozer it was. It's 'cause you're used to watching the Cowboys play there
Every
Sunday.
week. Yeah.
Jake Paul has more wins this year than the Cowboys
That's
do in
right.
Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
That's
so
right.
That's wild.
Wait,
dude.
where was the game today?
It's in
At
Washington.
In
Washington.
Washington,
Yeah. At Washington, which is
Wow.
why
In
they
Maryland.
pulled it off.
Dude, did you see that? Like, apparently they're working on bringing the logo back, the Redskins logo,
Are they?
and like they're gonna use it as like a fundraiser to like help fund like the tribe that helped create that logo.
It's great.
Well, the tribe wants it back.
This is what society does not understand is that the tribe created the logo, like it's a tribute to like one of their famous chiefs from like years and years ago, but it's all of a sudden racist. Like,
Well, that's
Aunt Jemima was like a tribute to like this like old black lady.
We're really
Like,
going off the rails here.
I'm just. I mean,
I'm 100% agree
Well,
with
like,
that statement.
I do agree getting rid of the word bullpen though, because
Yeah, we got to have the arm barn.
that's disrespectful to bulls.
Bulls.
dude, whatever happened to
understand-
the golf cart, dude? I was looking forward to more
Oh,
pictures
man.
utilizing the golf cart.
Yeah.
So fun. I understand getting rid of Chief Wahoo from the Cleveland Indians because he's a caricature, right? Like, it's
Was he? I don't know. I'm not a good history. I'm not a history buff. What? I'm not a history guy. He might have been a chief. No.
I'm sure that's what the Cuyahoga tribe looked like.
Throughout history, there was probably Chief Wahoo at some point.
Pigtails and his big teeth.
In Cleveland, Ohio, there was probably a Chief Wahoo.
Oh my gosh.
You can't laugh that hard, dude. I wasn't even laughing. I was serious. We gotta cut this. We gotta cut this.
That was an awesome take. But yeah, we should definitely bring the Redskins logo back. Everybody else got
anyway, going back
everybody
to
else
Washington.
everybody else got offended for them. So they had to get rid of it.
Yeah,
and
dude.
now they're the ones that want it back. So
I mean, I did
bring
enjoy
it back.
like
iconic.
I feel like
Iconic.
it added to the rivalry too, like the whole like Cowboys and
Cowboys and
Indians
Indians, yeah.
concept. Like that was like the part that I was kind of
Just a
disappointed.
better name too. Commanders.
Dude, the
stinks.
Commanders is such a terrible team. Like, if anything, go back to being the football team. Like, actually, like, I mean, it's just a classic look. Like, just be the football team.
They started
like,
a trend because now we
Yeah.
have the Utah Hockey Club. Or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
they call
yeah.
themselves. They just started a trend. Like you don't have to make a name. Just call yourself a hockey team.
just a
football
hockey
team, baseball team.
I was gonna say something else, but I did. I was just classic like Indians versus Tigers, you know. But like those are
Was it-
different. Those are different Indians.
Gladiators versus Lions.
Yeah,
This really went off the rail, dude.
dude.
It was good.
So Penn State barely beat Minnesota over the weekend.
Dude, that's another one. PJ Fleck freaking almost did it, and they lost by 1.
But
Yeah.
PJ Fleck with the most
Dumb.
worthless call. I mean,
Yeah.
What happened? I didn't see it.
have some stones and try to win a game.
Yeah.
With like 5 minutes left, they're on the 8-yard line,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 4th and 8, but he kicks the field goal, and he was down 4. And it's like, okay, yeah, you're having trust in your defense. They're gonna get the ball back, and you have a chance to win the game. You have a chance to possibly win the game right here. You're 6-4 at the time. You're not going nowhere.
No.
Like
Yeah.
you're in worst case, Penn State has the ball on their 8-yard line. If you're really gonna trust your defense, make them.
Yeah, you got a
drive
better
the
shot
field.
there than
Drive
yeah.
the field.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, that was just no stones moment. There
And that
for
actually
PJ
surprises me because I feel like he's the type of guy that does that too, like that takes chances.
Agreed.
Like,
Fleck. Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, that was crazy. I really did think. I thought Minnesota.
I thought Penn State was going down.
Dude, I thought Minnesota had that too. I thought it was going to shake things up more.
Yeah, I agree. I thought they were going to.
Which again,
I was gonna say because like honestly, like
there you go. Like,
I mean, how are Penn State and Indiana are not different?
no,
Yeah, Penn State hasn't played anybody.
The
either.
only team that Penn State has played is Ohio State.
Now they played them a whole lot better.
They-
but they also
dude.
had that game at home.
they did have it at home, but that goes to show, like, back to where we were talking about, 10 to 15 teams could win it all. Because, I mean, if Penn State's about to lose to freaking Minnesota, and Penn State plays Ohio State that well, on a different day, Penn State wins that game.
Agreed.
You know,
Agreed.
and so
Possibly. Well, yeah, possibly.
I mean, if you play it 10 times, Penn State may win it. I mean, Ohio State wins 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Probably, you know, but the third time, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's wide open.
Yeah.
I'm not betting on a national championship winner. That's for sure.
I mean, I will say, I mean, and maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but like I would even say, like I think Notre Dame. I mean, they've been solid. Like since that Northern Illinois game, like they've played very well. Like
Dude,
I mean,
yeah, they
again,
destroyed the service academies.
well, I was gonna say
such a
that's
good-
what I mean. Like so again, like they're not
yeah.
playing like great teams or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's the same argument as Indiana.
It is.
They're doing what they're supposed
but
to do.
Indiana didn't lose to Northern Illinois. That's the difference. Indiana, when they play those teams, they beat them by 30.
I feel like I feel like the committee, like September is so long ago that they are not even really factoring in September games anymore.
Well, and we talked about that earlier in the season. Like a lot of like, if you have one loss, even 2 losses, it's all about when you have them.
Yeah.
Like if you lose early in the season,
And
you
you
have
climb.
enough time to get back, build back up. Like Texas played Georgia at the perfect time to like get all the way back to number 3, where we can afford a second loss to A&M and still be fine.
But I think that should be the way it works, though. Like, because teams, like, they're allowed to get better as the season progresses.
Agreed.
At the beginning of the year, you might not be playing your best ball. Everything's kind of coming together. I feel like that's how it should be. But Notre Dame's strength of schedule, like they're playing USC this weekend. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's the best team that they've played since A&M. Like, literally.
Yeah.
Because everyone thought, I mean, going into the season, you're like, oh, they got Florida State. That could be a
Right.
matchup, but we know what Florida State is. And so that's, I mean, if this game is closer, I mean, I think USC has a chance to beat them, honestly. I don't think they do, but there's a shot.
Is it at home or
It's in USC.
okay? USC can win at home. They cannot win on the road.
Yeah.
So, they actually might have a chance.
I mean, right now it's a 7.5 point spread.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It's doable. Like, I think USC has a shot in that game.
What if they lose that game? You knock them out of the playoff.
Absolutely.
Have to, right? They lost to NIU and then lost to a bad USC team.
I mean, I would think so.
Yeah, probably.
But we've
And-
said the
and-
same thing about Alabama. They
Well,
lost to
but
two
right
bad
there,
teams.
right there,
Because-
you lose the last week of the season.
You don't have time for the teams in front of you to lose.
Exactly.
Way to come back up.
But Notre Dame, like, it's a blessing and a curse for them not being in a conference because
Yeah.
now they don't have a good win to be
Or-
able to bolster that.
or they don't have a chance to go win a conference championship and put them in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
but again,
See, this is what
so that
conference
adds to the
championships
importance
matter.
of conference championship thing.
Yeah, but Notre
No.
Dame just won't join a
Yeah,
conference.
that's more of a Notre Dame being like Notre Dame and being like, oh, we're special. We don't have a conference. We're too good for.
Yeah, but what you were saying like earlier, you say you don't need the conference championship games, but now you're saying it benefits them
Well,
to not have one. So
They also built the 12-team playoff for Notre Dame.
It benefits-
because you have four the Power Four conferences. The Group of 5 winner gets in.
and Notre Dame.
Notre
gets
Dame
in.
is your 6,
Yeah.
and then 6 other teams get in.
Well, and
Like,
that's
this was
and that's
literally built
and that's
for
why
them.
I picked them to be in the playoff at the beginning of the year. Is one because of their schedule, and two, again, it's the media hype. The media loves Notre Dame, so
Yeah, it benefits them from not having a conference championship.
yeah.
More than it would for them to like. Because again, now if they do beat USC, they're not at risk of getting destroyed by a good team in their conference championship
Yeah.
game.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, if they lose the game, then they don't have the chance to win a game against a big opponent either. But schedule some good opponents in your regular season, and that's not the issue.
Because more than likely they'll be the 6th seed, and then they'll play like an Alabama, or even like Boise State potentially. Depending
Hopefully
on
not
how
Alabama.
it goes. But that's what I mean though. Is like you're playing. You're probably either playing Boise State or you're playing a 3-loss team that gets in. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, just based on how the rankings are right now.
yeah,
Unless like maybe they drop Indiana to be like that 12th seed. I mean,
maybe,
I don't know.
and have Tulane's in the mix too, man. Like Tulane might, like the Big 12 might not get a representative.
Tulane's playing better football than Boise State.
The Big 12 might not get a representative in. We have to look at that too.
They will.
Dude, they might not.
Who does Arizona State have this weekend?
If Arizona State loses,
To Kansas State, right? Is that who they're playing?
No, they're going to. It's not. Oh, they're going to Arizona.
if Arizona State loses that game
That would be big loss for them.
and Tulane wins out and Boise State wins out,
Is BYU back in it?
I mean,
it's
They shouldn't because BYU looks terrible.
Well, it'd be BYU and Iowa State,
yeah, but
which neither one of them
Wow,
looks
Iowa
great right
State's
now.
gonna crawl their way back into this.
Yeah.
They should have lost the other night.
yeah,
That
but
was a close game.
So
to-
right now,
to-
Arizona State, BYU,
Utah.
Iowa
Barely
State, and
Utah.
Colorado are all 6-2. So if
in
Arizona,
conference.
so if Arizona State loses, they'll drop, which would put BYU and Iowa State both at 7-2.
But overall, how many losses? Like not just conference losses. Like
So
are there
right
any
now-
are there any Arizona State's a 2-loss team? That's
Arizona
it.
State, BYU, and
BYU.
Iowa State are all 9-2 right now.
and all
9-2.
their losses are in conference.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll get in.
I think you'd have a hard time taking the Atlantic, or whatever is it, the American Athletic Conference champion over Big 12.
Why?
I mean, if you're looking at strength of schedule and everything else, I mean, would you say that the American Athletic is better than the Big 12? I mean,
Not as a conference. So
Not overall as a conference, but I mean,
Tulane might be better than
In
some
my-
of these
in
teams.
my
I
opinion-
think Tulane's better than BYU. I think Tulane's better than Iowa State right now.
but which one? Who would you say is most deserving? Would you say BYU or Tulane?
Tulane.
Like you actually believe that?
See, the
Yeah.
argument's going to be is Tulane played a Big 12 team and lost
They have.
because they lost to Kansas State
Yeah.
and then they
They
lost
did.
to Oklahoma, which is their only 2 losses, and they should have had.
They
one,
would.
one of them they were in it. They were winning.
Yeah, against
I remember-
Oklahoma.
Was it Oklahoma?
Yeah.
I remember they blew one of them, but
It actually might have been Kansas State. I don't remember, but yeah, you're right. And I mean, Kansas State
But back to that was an early season game. Like if they
Yeah.
play again right now, I think Tulane beats Kansas State.
I think so too.
I don't know.
Speaking of Big 12, I got a football take. Has storming the field lost its flavor? Like everybody's storming the field these days.
Well, I think
And they're also storming prematurely. Like
a lot of
I
them are
think-
night
what-
games.
what are we
Everybody's
doing?
drunk.
I also think it depends on the situation. But Michael makes a good point. People being drunk, night games. But I think it depends on the situation.
and
like-
we're
like-
just tearing down goalposts like reckless abandon.
Hey, Arizona State put them back up. It's okay.
Yeah, and then
like-
tore them right back down.
Like Vanderbilt beating Bama at Rush the Field.
I agree.
Yeah.
But okay, Auburn rushing the field after being A&M. We're not a good football team, and you are a
Yes.
historically good.
Nah,
I think
they're
I
not
think
historically
I think
good.
But you-
quadruple overtime. I
Yeah,
think it's
and that's what
fair.
I was gonna say. Situation matters.
Yeah.
That was a
Context.
crazy intense game. It came down to a 2-point conversion battle and quadruple
Okay.
overtime.
Arizona State's a ranked team.
That's what
why,
I'm saying,
Why are
like,
you storming the
I don't
field
agree
as a
with that.
ranked team?
Like, I don't agree with Arizona State storming against BYU. I don't agree when Oregon stormed against Ohio State.
Agreed.
Like that makes absolutely
But-
no sense.
everyone's doing it.
It as an
It used to be
as an
it
LSU
meant
fan,
something.
I was upset that they rushed the field when they beat Ole Miss because LSU should beat Ole Miss. Like
They
if,
rushed it this year.
yes.
That's my point.
I- no,
They're
I-
just rushing to rush.
I
now.
agree. Again, it was an overtime game, sure, but LSU, like, I would hope that LSU would have more like prestige in that. Like, oh yeah, we beat Ole
You're
Miss.
supposed to win that.
No
game.
kidding. Yeah, that's what we do.
The Oregon Ohio State one I can understand a little bit. It's their first year in the Big Ten, first time playing Ohio State as a conference.
You're a
opponent.
top 5 team.
I understand that. I'm saying I can understand. I'm not saying I agree with it, but like I could hear.
You
an
understand
argument.
nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
Gee, thanks.
if you're but like Oregon, your goal coming into this year was to go play for a national title
Yeah,
and potentially
100%.
win one. So act like it. Like
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Like I'm in that camp. I'm just saying I
don't know,
could
just
I
feel
could
like every
hear an
week We're
argument.
seeing these storming
Does
the
every
field.
conference fine like the SEC does?
Are we
I don't
gonna
know.
get up to like $5 million fines? Because like somebody has to be at a $500,000 already.
You know, oh yeah, I think the first one's 250,000.
100, 250, 500.
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes.
And
from there.
It goes to the opposite school. You know that, right? Like it goes to the opposing team.
Because like
Does it
like
really?
even
Yes.
Tennessee,
That's $250,000
Yes.
going to
even
Georgia?
Tennessee
Yeah,
stormed
and-
against Alabama
yes.
this year.
Which they stormed again when they beat
Yes.
Bama 2 years
So when
ago.
LSU
Yeah,
stormed the field
You're
against
gonna
Ole Miss,
storm every
yeah,
time?
just every time.
that money went to Ole Miss.
I just think.
What do they do with it?
I think it's gotten out of hand.
I don't
I
know.
think it's gotten out of hand. Like
It-
it used to mean something to
It's,
storm the
yeah,
field.
it's
and
lost
now,
its prestige.
yeah,
I think situation-
everybody's just doing it.
I think situationally it matters, but
I don't know. I just saw.
I mean,
it.
I don't mind it for games like last night. Like I think Auburn. I mean, I think it's just absolutely
like
wild.
the tension just building.
Yes, like,
Yeah.
but I think especially ranked matchups, like Arizona State has no business storming the field last night. Like,
if your goal again is to,
Unless it's like the number one school, and like you can be ranked 22 or whatever, and like if you beat number one,
can you?
I think
Yeah.
so. I think so.
Didn't Texas A&M storm whenever they beat LSU in 7 overtimes?
Okay,
What?
that's the same argument you're making.
I agree.
Auburn. Yeah.
No, I agree. That's what I'm
The
saying.
only 2 times A&M stormed since joining the SEC is whenever we upset number 1 Bama, whenever we weren't ranked, and then in the 7 overtime.
Yeah, no, and that's
But, like,
why I
there-
say
there's been
situationally.
other games that like that are similar to these, but like don't storm. Like you should, if you want to be a program,
Act like you've been there.
Act like you've been
Yeah.
there.
Do you think A&M storms the field if they end up beating Notre Dame this year?
No.
Yeah,
You don't.
No.
I do.
a ranked team
College
against number
game day?
7, I think they do.
I think
Yeah.
so.
No, I don't think so. Okay, as an A&M fan, I would hope our fan base would have more class.
I agree. I
And
would.
not
I
do
hope.
it.
I hope that against Ole Miss,
It was
but they
the first
did
game
it
of the season, wasn't it?
First game of the year.
Nah.
Yeah.
It was,
Oh yeah. It
Yeah.
was.
but it was
Yeah.
a second for Notre Dame.
Yeah, because
First game-
No, it wasn't.
No, it was first game.
Notre Dame didn't go to Ireland.
Oh,
this
that's
year.
right.
That
they
was
did.
that was Florida State and Georgia Tech. That
For-
was the
Florida
that was
State.
the
That's
beginning of the
okay.
end
Yeah,
for
you're
Florida
right.
State.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, I mean
First game of the season, they rushed the field if they win that.
It's a ranked
guarantee it.
matchup. It's a ranked matchup. I mean, no. They should not. They
Should not and would not are two very different things.
I mean, I think to your point though, it's become kind of like a normalcy now though.
Yeah, I think that's
You win a big time matchup, let's storm the field. Like
I
that's
think
that's
my
just how
problem
it is
with
now.
Because I
Like,
used to love it. When I'm fans from the field, I used to love it, and I feel like it's lost its flavor.
One aspect of it too is like I know LSU, like there were a lot of people that were like pissed off about them rushing the field against Ole Miss because again, like you expect to beat Ole Miss, like that's what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are looking at it on the recruiting side. So you have all these big 5 stars coming to visit and like
It's stadium atmosphere.
yeah, stadium atmosphere. They're taking selfies with like all the people. Like hey, look, like they eat that up, you know. And so I mean,
It's corny.
don't do it.
It's
Don't-
corny.
It
generally.
is.
It's corny.
And the only way to stop it is to up the fines. You have to.
I mean, I think it's meant
because
for
security can't stop that many people.
No, you're not going to
They don't
stop
even try
a
anymore.
wave of people
Yeah.
coming on the field. Like, I mean, I think it's meant for programs like Vanderbilt beating Alabama
Yes.
this year. Like, it's
I had-
meant, it's
I had
meant
no
for stuff
problem
like
with
that.
that.
Agreed.
But like,
But like
and
like
marching those goalposts 3 miles down.
exactly.
Awesome.
But again,
Absolutely.
going to your
Tennessee did it to Alabama.
Tennessee should not
No.
be storming the field. Tennessee does have a football history.
Nah.
If you've got championship
It's
aspirations, you
history.
probably
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
No, like Tennessee acts like they're
yes.
supposed to be in the playoff. If you're the top 12 team in this country, I don't care who you're beating. Don't storm the field.
Yeah.
What about number 12 versus number 1?
No. You're number 12 in a 12-team playoff.
No, I
world.
know, but like, man.
Unless you're like a number 12 like a BYU this year, who's not used to being up there.
Well, the Mormons aren't going to rush the field. They're
Yeah,
too polite.
but I'm just saying like.
And they haven't been drinking all day.
Yeah.
But just a team that's,
That's the
not
big
used to
thing.
team that's not like if Indiana if that game was in Bloomington and Indiana beats Ohio State, I'd probably be okay with them rushing the field.
I mean, I think they're
exactly.
0-30 against them all time.
Exactly. They're never here, but like a team.
But they're
like
a top
an
12
LSU
team. They're in the playoff. See,
Okay.
context matters.
Situational.
Yeah, situational context
But like
matters.
LSU, Tennessee, no business. Like get out of here with that.
I agree.
I don't even
if
like-
you've been there, done that, then you shouldn't act like you haven't.
I hated it. Yeah.
What about rivalries?
No.
because you
Okay.
do them every year. Like this is not like no.
Yeah.
But like I will say, like
Like if
A&M will 100
this weekend if we win.
A&M will
I'm so pissed.
1,000% storm the
Oh,
field this
it's gonna
weekend.
happen.
They will
It's gonna
100%.
Yeah, like
Like,
without a
no
doubt.
question about it. If A&M wins, they're rushing the field. Not even a question.
But we just established if you're not highly ranked, Texas number 3 team in the nation, you win that game, you get to go to the conference championship, give yourself a chance to play into the playoff. I don't have no problem with them rushing the field in that situation.
I guess rush the field because Florida's going to wax us by 40. I mean, not Florida. Georgia's going to wax us by
Florida
40.
would too.
If they would, if we play Florida again, like if we don't play them week 3 and we play them tomorrow or this Saturday, Florida wins.
It's also a night
Florida's
game.
a better team
Everybody's
right
going to
now.
be drinking all day long. If they win, they're
Oh,
1,000% rushing the
100%.
field. It's going to happen.
And it would. I feel like it would probably happen vice versa too.
Oh,
I think
I think it probably would. That being said, like I haven't
just because it's a rivalry built up for like 15
Yeah.
years, they haven't played each other.
I haven't been to a Texas game
When's
where
the
they
last time
played
Texas rushed
someone.
the field?
Dude,
I've
When-
never
when's
seen
the-
Texas rush the field.
When's the last time they beat a top 3 team at home? They lost to Bama 2 years ago. They lost to Georgia this year.
they lost to
Or
LSU.
3 years ago, they lost to Bama.
They lost to
at
LSU.
home. They lost to LSU in 19.
I guess other big wins
So,
have been on the like when they beat
on the
Bama,
road.
it was on the road.
Yeah, so it's like I couldn't tell you. You know,
Based off the bottles that were thrown, they're
based-
rushing the field.
yeah.
At
I
least
would
the
think
student
so.
section.
They were also playing the Big 12, and their only big game every year was Oklahoma,
Well,
which
and
isn't played
They were
played the Cotton Bowl.
they were
so-
trashed the last 15 years.
But even then, if you look at like when Texas was bad when they beat Oklahoma, they didn't storm the field.
Because it's
Yeah,
in
but
the Cotton
It's
Bowl.
at the Cotton
It's an
Bowl.
11
But it still doesn't
it's an 11
matter.
a.m. game.
It doesn't
They
matter.
haven't been
It's
drinking
also
all day.
11 a.m. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. But it's still like if you're a bad team, like the year I went and watched and Texas beat Oklahoma, that was Charlie Strong's last year. Texas was a horrible football team, and they beat Oklahoma by 16.
Yeah.
I mean, like that. I mean,
Did Texas storm the field when they beat Notre Dame that year and like carry Charlie Strong off the field?
2016. I don't
They
think
didn't?
so.
Okay.
no,
Here's one where I think it's okay.
that was their last
and
ranked win or like big ranked win at
Yeah.
home. I mean,
Yeah.
My wife's gonna hate me for bringing this one up, but when Tech beat Texas in 08, I had no problem with them rushing the field.
Not at all.
Yeah, well,
Well, no,
But
because
Tech,
again,
Tech
like
was they were a top 5 team at the time.
Yeah,
Oh.
but it's Tech.
yeah, I think it. Yeah.
I mean,
No,
Tech-
context matters.
Yeah,
Tech was like
because-
notorious. Tech tried to kill Rick Perry that one year with the goalpost. Like they like ran the goal. They like slung the goalpost into the A&M section. Like after they beat them that one year.
Yeah. But I think we should get to some games.
Yeah,
I think it's time.
this has been fun, man.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Can we
Good stuff.
talk about MVPs real quick for baseball?
Sure.
Shohei Ohtani, first
forgot.
first primary DH to ever win an MVP.
50-50. It's quite
I mean,
crazy, man.
I mean, you can't not give it to him.
handedly won that one.
Yeah,
It was unanimous,
Yeah,
right?
it was
Yeah,
unanimous.
Both of them
Both
were
of them were
unanimous.
unanimous.
Yeah.
the judge was unanimous as well.
I mean, it's hard to argue either one of them. I mean,
I mean,
Stinks for Bobby Witt Jr. Played his butt
It's
off
'cause
this year, but
Bobby
Judge-
Witt had an absolutely
it's because it's a
astonishing
regular
too.
season game for a regular season award for Judge.
Oh,
That's
dude,
why he got it.
Dude, I mean, turns into just disappears. I mean, he's
Yeah.
a ghost in the playoffs.
It's awesome. I love it.
It's
I
so-
love when
it's
the
so much
Yankees
fun.
lose.
They said his wife had a higher blood alcohol level when she got arrested for a DUI than
No,
Then his batting
Yeah, then
average.
his batting average in the World Series.
there was
like,
there was another one. There was another stat that like Lou Gehrig literally had ALS like his last season and had a better batting average in the playoffs than Judge
Oh
did.
my god.
Legitimately.
Hey man.
Hey, you know.
I mean, you got a bunch of
Casper.
got a bunch of lanky white dudes throwing 73 miles an
Absolutely.
hour. Though, like,
Yeah, no, for sure. But no, and then
He was also swinging a 38-ounce bat.
yeah.
whenever we started this podcast, this was a Paul Skeens podcast.
Paul
He-
Skeens
he-
Rookie of the
fan club.
year?
Rookie of the year, man.
Did you know
What a 18-month run for that
He's
guy.
one of like 6 players that have gotten Rookie of the Year votes, Cy Young votes, and MVP votes.
That's crazy.
I didn't realize
there-
he got
there's
MVP.
only, like,
I
6
didn't
other
realize
pitchers.
someone actually voted. I guess they vote
Like,
out
yeah,
the
in,
MVP
like,
quite a
second and
bit.
third,
Yeah,
yeah.
they vote quite a bit.
Yeah, he got
but
votes, yeah.
dude, like, won a natty, LSU,
Mhm.
announces he's dating Livy Dunn, gets
That's the
called
top
up
of
You know,
Wait,
some
first
people have
overall
all
pick.
the luck.
first
Overall
overall
pick.
pick, signs a huge contract or a huge deal for the number 1 overall pick, gets called up quick.
Yeah, has no
Dominates.
adversity in the minors, comes up and just absolutely shoves.
Dude, that's
I mean, when you
but
throw 100.
I mean, dude, he was doing that at LSU.
But he had the
It was
best
dumb.
ERA in the league when he came, like for the time he played. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
You put him. I mean, the Pirates aren't as bad as they've been in the past, but you put him on a team that actually has some offense. He probably goes
Well,
15-2.
Let's see if the Pirates
15-1.
actually do something with it. The last time they had a team that was close
Like
and they
Garrett
had
Cole.
an ace with Garrett Cole and Andrew McCutcheon, they did nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
against
Nothing.
Florida.
look how good Cole's numbers got when he came to Houston.
That's because of sticky tack,
Spider Tech, you know.
spider tack. Yeah,
If you ain't
But
cheating,
yeah.
you ain't
I was
trying.
gonna say
baby.
I would take the same trajectory though. Like have a decent career at Pittsburgh, come to Houston, just
I mean,
shove it. Like
shoot.
I'd take that.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to watch.
Houston
with
also
LSU
changed
too.
his pitch repertoire when he came
Yeah.
over. They ditched
Brett
his
Strom.
Houston had a good run there. Like Verlander came back better.
What a great
Strom,
7-year stretch.
Charlie Morton. They made Charlie Morton relevant.
Keuchel goes and wins the Cy
Dude,
Young
that was
in
all
2017.
Strom, dude. All Strom.
Brent Strom, like that dude is legit.
He's a
Like,
godfather of pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, even look what
Charlie
he even
Strom.
did with Charlie Strom. I mean,
Look
look
what he did with Arizona last year.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
with the
no.
Diamondbacks, like
They
he turned them
brought him to the
around.
World
like,
Series, yeah.
like
I don't think he's there anymore. I think he
No, I
moved
think-
He's
on
probably
again.
retired. He's ready to retire.
was either that or it was kind of like the same thing. Like it was weird when he left the Astros. Like it was like a what was it? They called it a mutual decision, but
Yeah.
Jim Crane pulling and doing his stuff.
Or
He's
Dusty.
turning into Jerry really quick.
he's
or
trying.
Dusty.
He's trying to ditch everybody that had anything to do with Jeff Luhnow.
Or anybody that bucks him at all. Like Jim
Yeah.
Crane runs that organization.
Yeah, which I hate because when he came in, like I know we were excited because he was willing to spend money and do what it took, and but
now
I'm saying,
he's-
but it all went downhill whenever all that the cheating stuff came out.
Yeah.
Because like he felt like he couldn't trust anybody, and so now he trusts Jeff Bagwell, who's like one of the worst executives in history. Like that dude was one of my favorite players ever, and like now I can't stand the dude.
Doesn't mean it translates after playing.
no.
I mean,
Yeah,
he-
Chris Young's the exception to that.
Giving
Right?
Yeah.
giving
Well, I mean, there is some exceptions, but like just because you were a good player doesn't mean you're going to be good off the field.
but giving Crane some credit. He is spending money.
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah.
on Abreu.
Yeah,
And
dead
it's-
money.
It's
Hey,
kind of
and,
like,
Montero,
Montero,
Montero.
yeah.
I just don't want to end up like the Angels, where you go spend money every year and you're constantly at the luxury tax threshold every single year just to be mediocre.
The
That's what I
Angels
don't wanna
also
have
pay
happen.
players that just get hurt. Like
Yes.
when they signed Hamilton, stayed
Hamilton
hurt.
got hurt.
Rendon
CJ
stays
Wilson
hurt. You give Trout the money he definitely deserved, but now I don't. Has he played since 2018? I don't think he has. So
yeah.
But it's also like, and that's where that's the worst place to be in American sports is in the middle.
Mhm.
Like you don't
I'd
want
rather
to be in the
tear it
middle.
down. I was saying this after the World Series last year. Like, probably ought to look at tearing it down.
Like you either want to be dead last or you want to be at the top.
Well, yeah,
Like,
because especially when you look at their farm system right now, like
Oh,
there's,
yeah, it's
there's nothing
decimated.
coming up.
We're feeling those loss of the top 2 picks for those 2
Yeah.
years.
That
I
hurt.
feel like we somehow still like find just enough in this farm system.
we have done
Yeah.
well with
Like,
it.
we haven't had a good farm system since like 2017, maybe or a little earlier.
We get
And
guys
we
that
just
come up
keep-
and contribute.
We find
Yeah.
guys like
It's-
in the trenches
Arrighetti.
somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It-
Yeah.
it's very.
pitching him for Victoria Generals a
Yeah.
few years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
Was he really?
Yeah,
he was.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, dude.
wild.
And
Yeah.
he pitched some big games for us.
Rhino Blanco, like they're like
Yeah, Reno Blanco.
there's some diamonds in the rough.
Well, I mean,
there.
look
Pena
at
even.
all the international
Pena.
signings they made when they got Javier, Luis Garcia, Urquidy,
Urquidy, yeah.
Fromber all in the same
Fromber.
year.
Yeah.
It was, and I think it was all that same year.
And then
Yeah.
just a gift from the Dodgers.
And
getting
like
Jordan.
and it's like what they said. It's
Yeah.
like you wanted one to work out, and then all of them worked out.
Yeah,
Like, it was
all of them
crazy. Like
Good run.
You know,
Good run.
he's
Dude, that's the all-time trade though. Freaking
Jordan
Josh
Fields for Jordan
and then
Alvarez.
didn't Jordan take him deep in
Yeah, in the world.
think
In
so.
the
It's taken a
or-
lot of people.
Well,
deep.
he didn't.
They
take
weren't
him
in the
deep.
World Series, but no, it was
he gave up a home run in the World
it was
Series.
no, who was it? God, it was a switch hitter. Marwin.
Oh, Marwin.
It was that
It
game.
was
Yeah, so
Marwin.
we traded Fields to the Dodgers in 17, and then Marwin hits a home run off of
That's
the
right.
World Series. It's great.
Awesome.
Man,
I remember watching him at
Prime
Roundabout.
years.
That dude went and watched the game, and he hit
Dude,
3
yeah.
tanks all up. His
yes, dude.
Dude.
I remember watching him too, and I remember he hit one.
I had
Like,
season tickets. I saw him all the
I
time.
know.
that dude was unbelievable.
Him and Tucker were battling
anytime-
for him
anytime
and Tucker. Him and Tucker was hitting nukes
Yeah.
too.
Anytime Alyssa or Jordan didn't want to go, I got to go with you all. It was
Yeah.
great.
Was he not doing this in the Dodgers organization? Like, why did they just feel?
He,
Well,
was,
they-
he was like 18 years
I was
old.
gonna say they had just signed him.
He was 18.
I was gonna say like that's why he has all these injuries. He's
He was like
46
23.
years old
Did
now.
y'all
Like,
see that one? It happens all the time, but there was one they made pretty public a few weeks ago. Like, somebody that was supposed to be 19 years old was only 14. I mean, it was someone that was only 15 years old was 19.
Yeah, no, that's not.
what was it? Willie Tavares? Not Willie Tavares. Who was the
We had Danny Almonte.
Miguel Tejada?
Miguel
Miguel Tejada. They
yeah.
found out he was like 3 years older than he.
There was a pitcher too. Changed his name and everything. Played for the Indians back in the day. It's Guardians now, but
the Chief Wahoos.
the Chief Wise. Can't remember.
They should just go back to that name. just get rid of all of it. Just call him the
Cleveland
Chief
Chief
Wahoos.
Wahoos.
He's a real chief, dude. Like,
dude. Historically, bro.
Historically, they have a
I'm not a history
They have a
buff.
TP in
I'm
the
gonna
stands and
spend
everything.
all week trying to find a tribe that had a Chief Wahoo leader just to see if we can.
I guarantee
just
it's
if we
there.
can verify this.
Guarantee it's there.
I like it.
hey, they have a movie, dude. Like the Indians are forever ingrained, dude. Major League.
I have a hat.
Except they're more known for the
Yeah.
movie than actually anything ever on the field.
I have a Wahoo
Oh yeah,
hat.
for sure. Well, and they helped break the Cubs World Series streak.
They did.
So,
They did.
yeah.
They were big contributors. In
You got the
that
Chief Wahoo hat.
blowing.
Oh yeah.
You can keep it forever.
You gotta
Oh,
go
yeah.
get it on eBay now. I'm sure someone is pirating those.
It'll be worth
Oh,
money
for
down
sure.
the road for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I'm holding it.
It's a deal.
It's an investment. It's gonna pay for my kids' college.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go into the games. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. But no, we once, Mike, you need to come back on once like the
Once the hot stove gets kicking.
exactly hot stove, and then
It's
obviously
coming up. We got
yeah.
GM meetings or winter meetings.
Winter
probably.
meetings
It's coming
yeah.
up pretty
4
soon.
weeks.
Yeah.
and then once kind of spring training rolls around and just kind of do a deep dive. But yeah, this weekend, rivalry weekend for a lot of these.
Yeah,
games,
not
so-
a lot of big implications. Like there are obviously there's a few games that have a lot of meaning, but a lot of stuff's already set in stone. So
for the most part, unless people lose.
yeah,
Unless we have another week like we just had.
Yeah,
where-
like the first game that we'll talk about, South Carolina at Clemson. Clemson are 2.5-point favorites. I mean, South Carolina can play spoilers again. They've done it once to Aggie. I mean, they should have did it to LSU earlier in the season too. Who y'all got?
I mean, I would say. Well, you go ahead, Will.
I South Carolina.
Yeah,
I think South Carolina is a much improved team. I don't know if they're quite as high, should be as ranked high as they are, but I think they've definitely turned a corner. Clemson's been back and forth. They've played a whole lot better though recently, minus the Pitt game. But I think the SEC is just better. So South Carolina.
I'm gonna take Clemson just because it's at home. If it was on the road, I would take South. Or if it was in, well, I guess it's in South Carolina regardless. But
it's true.
um,
In
but-
Columbia,
but a home game for Clemson, I'm gonna take them at home.
who you got, Mike?
I'm going to go Clemson as well. Death Valley, home field advantage.
Not the real one though.
Not the real Death Valley, but Death Valley. Yeah, I just feel good about some home cooking.
Yeah, I'm going South Carolina with Will. I don't trust Klubnik at all. Like, I feel like he's a DJU kind of guy. Like, touted 5-star, just not living up to expectations. South Carolina's defense might honestly be the best defense, bar Georgia, that they played all season. And
That is true.
look what happened to that. Like,
For sure.
they're going to be flying around. It's a rivalry game. They're going to be up for it. Sellers can run the ball well. Can he? If that guy can figure out a passing game, watch out, dude.
There you
Like
go.
they're going to be very good in the
Yeah.
in the near future. And I think they're doing pretty well in the recruiting trail.
Is he
too,
younger?
I was about
He's a
to-
freshman.
Really?
He's a
freshman?
true freshman.
Wow.
Oh, that I was.
So yeah, so
I
they're
was
gonna be
not
they're gonna
hoping
be
that.
solid
That's-
coming
Yeah,
up.
he's a
then.
true freshman.
He's played well.
Yeah, he's been very good.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game for sure.
I don't even think
though.
he's a redshirt. I think he's true.
He's a-
Like a
it-
true
18.
freshman.
It
Wow.
only shows the 1 year, but yeah.
but
I
yeah,
wonder if he'll stay in South Carolina.
that's the ticket.
I think I mean, based off the season, they've turned the season around. I mean, they're ranked. They'll be ranked top 15 after Tuesday.
Yeah, I think they're 14 in the AP poll, so
Yeah.
they'll be
Deserved.
close. for
But yeah, I'm
sure.
going South Carolina.
Sweet. Our next one it's a big game as far as Big 12 implications. Is Kansas State going to Iowa State, who's a 2.5-point favorite. Take it away, Lou.
They're both not good football teams. I'm gonna go ahead and just roll with Iowa State, literally just because it's at home. I was pretty high on that Rocco Brecht dude, and he's just kind of been going downhill since their kind of mid-season struggles. And I think it's directly correlated to that. But I'm going to pick Iowa State at home. I don't trust Kansas State at all.
This might be one of the toughest games to pick because Iowa State has not looked good the last few weeks. They barely escaped Utah.
Yeah.
And Utah's fallen off the rails. They got
Agreed.
beat the 2 weeks before that. But Kansas State, I mean, they lost to Houston, bad football team. Then Arizona State, they beat Cincinnati, who's even a worse football team. I think I'm gonna roll Iowa State. It's at home. They somehow have a chance to sneak back into this Big 12 picture. I think it's gonna be really close, or it's not gonna be a very good football game.
I'm not watching it.
No one's gonna want to watch this one, but I think Iowa State sneaks it out.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was just thinking about taking Kansas State, but then they lost to Arizona State, which turned out to be a good team. Lost to Houston, like
It's a bad loss.
yeah, barely snuck by Kansas. That kind of like sparked Kansas's run right there. But that Houston one's kind of the one that really sticks out, just because man, they're so bad. But I mean, Cincinnati's been kind of a back and forth, and they blew them out. So I don't know. I'm gonna take Kansas State. I think they'll go on the road. I mean, I really do think it's going to be a toss-up, and it's going to be just whichever team decides to show up that night. And so,
Yeah.
Definitely, I know Iowa State has a lot more to play for right now, but I think Kansas State's going to go in and play spoilers. So,
What you got, Mike?
I'm going to Iowa State. The loss to Tech was a 1-point loss coming off the bye.
Yeah.
Maybe just a little flat coming out of a bye. Lost by 9 to Kansas the next week in Week 11. Last 2 weeks, they've gotten it done. This last week wasn't pretty, but they have something to play for. They're playing at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It's
something.
razor thin, right?
Yeah.
It's a toss up.
Yeah.
So.
I think something to play for is a big point too.
I mean, just giving up 28 points to Utah, though, who's like,
Yeah.
golly, like
That's tough.
Utah has zero offense.
That's a tough look.
It's your turn.
It's my turn. Next game, Arkansas is going to Mizzou. Mizzou are 3.5-point favorites. Who y'all got?
A game that literally means nothing for anybody, but
Oh, it means a lot for. I mean, Missouri's going to somehow hang around and stay in the polls all year if they win this game. They'd finish 9-3. That is the worst 9-3 SEC team in a long time.
Good losses, man. Good losses.
I don't know, just bad. You picking?
Go ahead.
I'm picking. I don't want Missouri to finish ranked. Who are they playing?
Arkansas.
So I'm taking Arkansas. Just taking Arkansas. They're not that good either. They've gotten blown out, but I'm taking Arkansas.
Who you got?
Don't like Missouri.
I'm going to take I'll take Missouri at home, covering the 3.5 points.
Yeah. Mike.
Give me Arkansas. Don't know why. Just feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like your reasoning. I'm actually going to Arkansas too. Mizzou, I think literally had the easiest route and the easiest schedule of all SEC teams.
They've hung around.
Yeah, and they just don't look good. Their offense is not what it was. Luther Burden did not show out like he was supposed to.
Brady Cook either.
Brady Cook is not a good quarterback. It at least hasn't been this year. Arkansas has some dudes. They have a bunch of athletes on the edge. Their quarterback, Talon Green, I think is his name.
Yeah, Taylor Green.
Yeah, he's a. I mean, if he's fully healthy, watch out. I mean, he can run really well. Good deep ball too. I'm going Arkansas.
Yeah, but they only lost to South Carolina by 4 points on the road.
Who?
Missouri.
Yeah, they also got shut out by Bama.
Yeah, like bad.
And smoked by A&M.
Like they got destroyed by A&M, and that was Connor Wegman.
It's a
A&M.
bad look. Yeah, bad look.
That's not even a Marcel Reed A&M.
Yeah. What's the difference?
There is none.
One can throw sometimes, one can run sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's all fun.
Yep. The next one that literally means nothing for anything is Kansas at Baylor, who's a 1.5 point favorite. So,
This means everything.
I mean,
Kansas is trying to get into a bowl. So
yeah, and the run Kansas is going on. I got to go with Kansas. They've been playing very, very well. I picked them last week. I'm going to keep rolling with Kansas. They've been playing really well lately.
Yeah, I'm picking Kansas. If we were starting the Big 12 conference play right now, or like starting in the last month, Kansas has looked like one of the best teams in the Big 12,
Yeah.
especially with everybody else kind of imploding and looking worse as the season goes on. They have definitely looked better. I know Baylor's got a better record. They're actually favored at home somehow. But, yeah, with the run Kansas is on and how they've looked the last 3 weeks, I'm rolling Kansas.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Baylor just because Baylor has not lost a game since October 5th, and they've been playing very well, and they're playing at home, and then Kansas. I mean, I think I could almost see this kind of being just kind of a letdown game, coming off a big win against Colorado.
Yeah.
So I think Baylor's going to be able to get a win and get their coach off of the hot seat. So.
Yeah, I agree. Baylor for all the same reasons you just said. I think they blew their load against Colorado. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna be able to get up and go on the road down to Baylor and handle business down there.
Baylor should have beat Colorado as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
that
it
was-
wasn't for
that
that
was a
crazy,
Yes, exactly. Unbelievable.
that melt down there. So that is another good point.
Yeah.
And then the last game.
The last one, not an important game, but
Nah.
It won't be.
it's kind of a big deal. So for a chance to go to the SEC championship game, it is Texas, who are 5.5 point favorites, going down to C-Stat for Texas A&M.
Taking the bus to the armpit of America, baby. No, I'm rolling with Texas. Obviously, Quinn being hurt, we'll see who starts. Could be a big factor in the game, which I think that's why the line kind of moved down. I think it started at 7.5.
Yeah.
Bumped down to 5.5. But Texas A&M, I mean, all for the reasons why I picked Auburn last week. I feel like they're just too one-dimensional. And defensively up front, they're very good, but that's one of Texas's strong suits. So their offensive line is unbelievably good. So we'll see what happens with that. But I mean, if it's under a touchdown, I would even take the 5.5 Texas to cover that. To be honest,
Texas. I'm taking Texas.
Man, that's gotta hurt.
I've told you, as for the third time on this podcast, if this game meant nothing, if we had no path to an SEC championship game, no path to a playoff, I would pick A&M. I should. They're my team. I don't care. This game means something, so they are going to just completely crap the bed. They do this every time. I've talked about it before. We used to start 5-0, 6-0, end up 8-4, 7-5 every year. We're doing the same crap. We're going to somehow be in this team, one-loss SEC. All we did was beat Auburn when we were in that SEC championship game. This game didn't have to mean anything. And here we are. It means something. They're going to lose. We're one-dimensional. Texas, don't even run the ball with blue. I don't care who your quarterback is. If it's Ewers, if it's Manning, if your walk-on kicker, I don't care. Just throw the ball. Throw the ball. Our secondary is not going to stop nothing. Just don't overthrow bad receiver, or don't even overthrow people. You're going to have them wide open. They can't. One of our cornerbacks is called the blanket. Dude is not a good cover corner. I don't even know why is he named that. I don't know if he just collects blankets. I don't know.
Wet blanket.
But it's bad.
bring back the Sumlin copter.
Everything. The wheels have fallen off, man. The wheels
I wonder what
have fallen
Jimbo's
off.
doing these days.
Dude, he's
Count his
big
money.
chilling.
Yeah.
Big
Count his
chilling.
money. He's not worried. He doesn't have to deal with this dumpster fire anymore. Elko's getting his first taste.
He's still got his national championship trophy sitting on the show
Dude.
He should give Jameis Winston a cut of this money for taking him there.
for sure.
No, it's Texas. Texas should win this game handedly. Don't buy into all the BS. Don't buy into the Colt bullshit that's going to go on this weekend. Texas is going to win.
I'm gonna take Texas as well. I do think it's gonna be a defensive showdown, but I do think it's gonna be fairly low scoring for sure. I obviously both teams will be up for it, but I think at the end of the day, Texas is going to take care of business. So
Yeah, I worry a little bit about Texas looking forward to the SEC championship game, getting a chance to go play Georgia again. I do worry about that somewhat.
We're worried about Texas A&M.
I'm in Texas A&M.
Sark's been here. He wouldn't make that mistake.
I do worry about that a little bit. That being said, Sark does a great job getting his team up for road games. They are a better road team than they are a home team, and I think that's
How do you know that?
Because I've watched the games.
They played like 2 road games this year.
And they've only played one bad home game.
Look, they beat. It's the only home game that mattered. I think they take care of business. I think they beat A&M. I wonder. I know the MRI results came out. Ewer's ankle's clean,
Oh, is it?
but it's still a mild sprain. So how much leash does he have? Like if he's looking off, how quick's the trigger?
All the leash.
Just block Scorton and Turner, and nobody else can rush. So
he has
just throw
all
the
the
ball.
leash.
You're
I
fine.
mean,
He should. I don't disagree.
But it's been shown all season. Like Sark, that's his guy. Like
Yeah.
Sark's not pulling him unless something bad happens, like
Yeah.
the torn oblique.
So even against Georgia when he was struggling, like it was ride the Ewers train.
Yeah.
Except for those 2 drives.
Yeah, which made sense. Like once you heard his thought process behind it.
Yeah.
it
Let him
was cool.
reset, figure it out, and then
So yeah, I'm taking Texas, but I think it's close. I think it's a dogfight. A&M has things to fight for, both like.
Pitbull versus a Chihuahua.
I mean, you say that, but it's
It is a big rivalry game.
it's a
20
huge
years.
game. Yeah, you haven't played
Yeah.
it in 15 years.
I think that plays into it though, because none of these players, unless they grew up fans of these schools, have experienced this. Nobody at the school, like this means more to like alumni than this means to people.
It's going to
at
matter
the
to the
school.
students. You mean to tell me the students aren't going to lose it?
They are, but like they don't even know what they're really getting themselves into.
They're
Yeah,
also
and
drinking
it's-
all day
it's
long.
definitely,
It's going to be a tough
Well,
atmosphere.
that part plays into it, but
I mean,
I'm not saying it won't be. But it's going to mean more for like
The administration-
30-year-olds plus, and this is going to mean for
the administration definitely indoctrinates them from the beginning to hate Texas. So,
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's true.
So
Saw
it's
him
going to
off.
be fun. I
I
mean,
think-
I know I'm all, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a hard game. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout either way. I really don't. As we've seen in rivalry games before, take the rankings, throw them out. They don't matter. They really don't.
Yeah.
except for Ohio State, Michigan. Ohio State is going to absolutely obliterate them.
Bryce Underwood's coming to save him, though.
He's actually
With his
going to
money.
reclassify again to
He's gonna reclassify
2024.
and then roll.
Yeah.
Expected to start on Saturday. Oh, all right.
Well, it's been fun, boys.
I think we're out of time.
Yeah.
So,
Is this at 2 hours?
yeah, it's 2 hours. Riverside's about to kick us out.
Yeah,
so-
this is as long as we've ever done it.
Yeah. Hey, it was worth every second, though.
Yeah, this
it's
is
been
a
a lot
fun
of fun. Hopefully, the metronome's not clicking for everybody at home.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
But,
My bad.
it's because we keep bringing Aggies on the show. That's the problem.
Yeah. I'm just bad luck
That's
for
all
my
right.
team and everything. For the boys, for the team, everything. Sorry, Rockets. I'm dooming your season now, too.
It happens to the best of us,
It's the
man.
next
But-
Ted Cruz.
Oh, all right. Well, we appreciate everybody listening. It's been a lot of fun. We appreciate Michael taking a visit, coming on. Free to come on anytime. Will, appreciate you coming on again.
Yes, sir.
Lucas, always a pleasure.
It's fun.
Continue to follow, share, like, subscribe on all our social media. I haven't been posting on TikTok because our videos have been a little screwed up. So hopefully we're back on track, and we'll get some of Will's hot takes this week on there. So just look for that. Follow us on all our social media. Tell your friends, tell your family. Continue to follow, like, listen, all that good stuff. Until next time, we'll see you next week. See ya.